Okay, good evening and welcome to the June 15th meeting of the Selectmen's meeting. We had a non-public with the police chief over a possible hiring situation. And at this time, would everybody please rise and go for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where'd the folder go? That was sitting here.
I probably took it.
Payables.
Payables? Okay.
No,
No, this
not
one.
enough signatures.
No, I didn't see
Waiting.
them. Did I sign
I
it?
believe you did.
Yeah, I probably signed it the other day.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Still not enough signatures.
We're going to have a couple minutes before we have a public meeting. If the chief wants to continue for 5 minutes,
2 minutes.
but I get a little more according to that clock. About
2-minute
4.
warning.
There was a question about a purchase.
I think mine got crinkled in right there.
So Sergeant Montplaisir came across a speed trailer. That's the one that registers speed that we can set up independently on some of our speeding complaints that citizens give us. We believe it came from the Massachusetts State Police. It went to auction. An individual bought it. We bought it from him for $400. Sergeant Montplaisir, prior to buying it, went and inspected it. It appeared to miss just one jack. A couple of the door locks were broken. They're like $8 each. And then it was missing one of the speed signs that you post to let people know what they're supposed to be going. He's already stripped the decals, started painting it. We're going to order decals, but we're pretty sure we can have that up and running in under 30 days. And we bought it for $400, which is a steal. So, solar operated.
Which shape of the batteries in?
It was working. He tested it. It was working. You know, we don't know how old they are. So,
Because I know we put those in our last one. It was almost $700 just for the batteries. So, yeah.
still, even if we put brand new ones in it, that's still good for a speed
What
trailer.
does a new radar trailer cost usually?
Oh, I don't know. They're thousands. I can check it out and let you know.
Doesn't matter.
Not $400. I know that.
Yeah.
I asked a question earlier. What are we planning on towing this with? Because I don't think any of the thing in the fleet has it yet.
So I was planning on towing it with a Tahoe. That didn't exactly work out. But
Plan
currently
B.
we don't have anything to tow it with. We probably have to borrow one of the DPW trucks if we're moving around or put a trailer hitch on 6. We already checked out the cost of that. It's about $330 roughly.
Plan for securing said trailer when it's on the side of the
A
road?
trailer ball, as was recommended.
Trailer ball lock.
And yep. So
Or maybe just take the wheels off?
yeah.
One wheel off
Take a wheel
anyway.
off, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get it working, and we'll keep y'all advised of the progress on it. But
Okay.
we think we did really good on this one. Hopefully, I actually told Sergeant Montplaisir I'd have to give him a little kudos if he pulls this one off. So
Okay. Well, good.
all right, thank you very much. Y'all have a good night.
You too, chief. Thank you. And about, what, a minute?
It's 6:45.
At 6:45, we are now going to open up a public hearing to hear public testimony and comment on the increasing the disposal fees at the transfer station. First up to speak is the DPW director.
Can I set that somewhere, or does that have to be right there?
Put it on the corner of the table. There you go.
Okay, so I'm here. I got a couple things after, should take about 2 minutes after the public hearing, but the public hearing is solely to increase the disposal fee on tires. Our vendor went up, so therefore we need to go up. I will pass out what I'm proposing to go up to, and I'll pass out what we are at currently. And then I do have copies of what the vendor's going up to if anybody's interested.
This is the current pricing.
I'm gonna staple them together.
Is this all set now?
Sherry, I don't know who signed
You
it.
got 2 signatures on it.
John?
Thank you, sir.
Well, there's only 2 signatures on it.
Can't lift your fingers one more, I have a hard time getting the papers apart. I lied, Frank, I do have, you owe me just one extra. I guess you already told me anyway, but thanks.
One question on the list.
Yep.
You have truck tires, but nothing for either loader tires, radial or bias, so you're just gonna keep those the way they are.
Yeah, we talked about that. So Boss Tire is currently the vendor. They work through NRA, so we pay NRA. That's why this paper says NRA. You want one of these, Frank? Thank you. Okay. So currently, we are charging $2 a piece for passenger car tires, $8 a piece for truck tires, which would be semi-trucks, 1122, 1124 5s.
Not LT.
There's a few
not,
other
Not
vari-
LT tires, just not trucks or tires.
Over 19 inch?
Like suburban tires or pickup truck tires.
No, big truck tires, yeah. Yeah, over 19 inch. And then you'll see a list of other things there that we charge for, various tires. And for some reason, motorcycle isn't on the list, but we charge $1 right now and looking to go to $2. So, like to raise the motorcycle tires, even though it's not on your other list, from $1 to $2. Passenger car tires, which is your car pickups, so forth. From $2 to $3, an extra $1 if they're full of dirt, water.
Oh, so it's plus $1.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I'll go get my tires dirty
Yeah,
and then
I
bring
know,
them
I
back.
know.
It's minus $1
See the
there.
dash there, I saw that tonight. We do get some snowmobile tracks. I didn't really care if we took them or not. Matt said he didn't have a problem taking them, so that would be $20. It's kind of something we've been getting some of that wasn't thought of before, isn't on the other list. Talking about maybe not accepting anything larger than a truck tire, because the vendor charges per tire basis, and I don't really know. You know, if you own a company and you're changing 988 loader tire, you're a company, I think you'd find somewhere to get rid of it. I'm sure, you know, most of skidder tires stay in the woods usually. But so we thought about not even dealing with them, because I got to get them boys a new container up there, and we got to start putting them under cover so they don't get full of water. So they got to handle them by hand. I do have the skid steer, I guess, but then the guy loads them by hand, and so we just stopped taking equipment stuff. You know, it's a commercial business. I think you could take the vendor who sold you the new tire. I kind of like discouraging you when you bring tires to the transfer station, unless you find them in your backyard. I don't know who asked the tire shop put them back in your trunk so you can haul them to the transfer station, drop them back off. They're roughly the same price.
I don't know, I know the last time I wanted to had my tires changed, it was $10 a tire extra. In one
And I
place,
made a
another place was
mistake.
$5, so.
I made a mistake not writing it down, but I did call Mr. G's, and they were around $1 more than us on car and truck tires. So
Yeah.
I think they're charging,
Tire warehouse was like
$5 a tire.
$5 a tire at Tire Warehouse.
like our tires might be around 5, and I think they told me they're charging 15 or 17 for big truck tires. So
They charged me $8 for the.
I got a pile. I didn't get in before this public hearing because they went up starting June 1st. So, oh, and I was going to give you a copy of that.
So when are you planning on having this effective?
Immediate.
Tomorrow? Oh,
I
Jesus,
mean-
because I got some ties.
I got a whole truckload of them. Yeah. My wife says, "Why don't you get rid of them?" I says, "I don't know."
I don't have.
Right now, we're a couple $100 upside down revolving fund already. Anyway, so revolving funds, you can't really be upside down. Why are we upside down? Once in a while, they sneak one in. The highway department drops them off. You know, in the wintertime, we go through tires, so we're always a little bit behind. So, yes, John.
Snowmobile Tracks,
Yeah.
$20, you know, on this NRA prices. I mean, I don't know how much, $20 a piece, $20 a piece, $20 a piece. 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 $20 a piece, $20 a piece they've got Snowmobile Tracks, no steel. What are you gonna do if somebody comes in with a track studded?
Tell them no, I guess. The vendor don't take them. I don't think they make such a thing anymore. I don't know anybody who rides a snowmobile that don't have steel in it.
90% of the snowmobiles out there now stud them.
I know.
Yep.
So they ain't gonna be able to take them.
Or,
So
I
what's
wasn't
that-
even gonna put it on there. You know, we don't see a ton of them. That's another thing. You change it, and you get the few guys that are handy that do things themselves. Most people go to.
Yeah, but if we have no way of disposing of it, then
Not gonna take it.
Then we won't accept it. That's the idea behind getting away from all the equipment stuff. You see in RA's list of all the things that they charge for and variations, and I just do not have to bother with it.
Personally, I think it's a good idea to go with the bigger stuff.
Because you get, you know, Matt and Bill are pretty savvy on what size the tire is, but things could change, you know. And Bill probably retire someday. You get somebody who don't know a truck tire from a camper tire. I hate to have, you know, because these equipment tires, who's to say a tractor tire from a loader tire from a, but if we just don't accept them, then eases that up, my opinion.
I think at times if you don't accept them, then you run the risk of you're gonna get them anyway, because you're gonna find them on the side of the road someplace.
Oh, yeah, you get that anyway, so.
Yeah, I think it just go up.
I think equipment tires is different. They really don't see any trouble with that. I can't even remember the last time I saw a big loader tire come in.
I had one come in once. In 10 years I was up there.
Yeah, and I think it come out of an old gravel pit down off River Road. It was a 988 tire, and we didn't even know what to charge. I think we charged $100. That probably wasn't enough. So I picked it off that Furmac when that was new. It's all it wanted. Poor guy
Your-
brought
your
in a
new
snowmobile trailer, and his axle was like that. So.
your new proposal is motorcycle tires $2. The NRRA is bicycle and motorcycle tires. Are we charging for bicycle?
No, never used to. Threw them in the trash.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I'm just looking at that. So
For the public hearing portion, that's all I have. If any other questions or comments or suggestions, or
It's pretty
kind of
simple.
bounced it off Matt. He's the guy
it's-
that deals with it every day. And
It's pretty straight, what you give us is pretty straightforward, and it's not much different in line with what you get if you go to a tire shop or a garage, have tires put on, they'll charge you for the disposal.
You do have to open it for public
Yep,
comment.
so at this point, if you don't have anything else, Benji, I'll open it up for public comment.
want to ask the people out in the hallway just in case.
You guys want a public comment on the tire? Okay.
No, getting the head shake, no, okay.
I pay
I mean, I
my-
don't think it, again, I completely agree with everything you presented with us.
Yep.
But I did talk to Naomi and Jack, before the meeting, and, my personal feeling is this isn't much of a public hearing when you're gonna allow 2 people of the public in. Because of the
I mean, we
limitations
could have
of
let
10.
more in, but I mean, we,
Well-
10 in the room, and then after that, but I think the thing is we can't afford to keep letting it get upside down. It's a revolving fund, and I think that's the big part, and I don't think this is, it's either that or it's gonna come out of taxpayer money.
Like I said, I don't disagree with these numbers. I agree with the rate increases, I agree why we're doing it, I just don't think it's as much of a public hearing when you only let 2 people in the door. Because there's 6 of us here, Benji, and that's
Nobody
8,
was posted, anybody.
It's
could've
been
come
posted for
tonight.
3 weeks.
with 10 in the room, max. That's what I'm
They're
saying.
here, they can listen to it if they're set out there.
And we have more room in here, or they can come through and rotate and talk, if they wanted to.
Again, that's my feeling, I'm just letting you know.
Anything else?
I'm with Ricky on that. But I agree with the rate increase needs to happen. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, we can't afford to be in the red, not coming out of a revolving fund.
I don't disagree with that either.
And the other thing is that it has to come from someplace, so if it doesn't come out of the revolving fund, then it's gonna come out of the taxpayer's pocket.
We're still doing good with the demo.
yeah, right there.
Good.
I mean, the brakes aren't rusting up on the trailer?
No. No, that's not a worry. Jeepers, there's stuff going out of that place. No,
Well, let's see if there's any more for the there's nothing else for the public hearing, and I guess we can close it on that topic. Unless you have something else on it, Benji.
not a public hearing. While I'm standing here, if I could have 2 minutes after,
Sure.
and I'll get out of everybody's way.
Yeah, you're on
Close
the,
public
you're on the
hearing.
list anyway for department head, so. Okay. I guess I'll entertain a motion then. Reference to the fare increase, the rate increase.
Make a motion to accept Benji's proposed new tire prices.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
3 years and 1 abstention.
4 yes.
4 yes and 1
4 yes,
abstention.
I mean 4 yes and 1 abstention, sorry.
Just, is that effective immediately?
Yes.
Don?
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys had to say that.
Effective immediately.
Okay, yeah.
Sherry, are you all set with effective
Yes.
immediately? You seconded it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes, I still vote yes.
yes, yeah. What about like all your cardboard and all your plastics that are going in? Are you gonna switch that over? at
Oh, eventually, not yet.
some- How much money are you losing on that? The cardboard and.
Probably 15 cents since this has been done.
How much?
About 15 cents probably.
That's all you've lost?
Cardboard's not.
Plastic is a direct subsidy of oil,
Right,
and oil is upside down.
right.
Now, cardboard maybe a little bit.
No, I mean, you're paying to truck it all now too, to get it burned up.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I just was curious.
Plastic ain't worth much, and
We
we've
had
been
to truck
able
the
to,
plastic and the cardboard too.
we've been able to, and this is gonna kinda follow up to my next thing that, I'd like to present to you guys. We will open it as soon as they decide this thing's over, but, I mean, the one way to contract this is, the biggest way is through spit droplets and handling people's beverage containers is, and plastic isn't worth much unless you separate it right
It's not
so
worth
far
somebody
down,
dying.
so. Cardboard would maybe get back to it a little sooner. So, last year, there was some scuttle on social media about the hours up there. I still, say you could be open 24 hours a day and it wouldn't accommodate everybody. But Matt is willing to make an effort to have one late night for those people that can't make it the other 36 hours a week. And he would like to try it on Tuesdays and stay open until 7 p.m. Same hours, just staying open until 7 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Year round?
No, we're gonna do it just
Seasonal.
for the summer, and it would never be year-round, but we're gonna, because it gets dark up there.
There's not adequate lighting up there for
What
year
would, what would it take to put adequate lighting in there then?
money
Well,
lot
other
of-
than money?
and lots of it.
Lots of it.
I mean, so this is where the recycling thing's gonna come in.
Better
Right
sheltering.
now, Matt feels very comfortable doing it on his own, letting Bill go home at normal time. They'll work the hours up. Maybe there'll be a Tuesday he can't, Bill will stay late, and they'll work that out. When we start accepting all this stuff, we'll have to,
Tuesdays until when?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.?
We'll have to either have a little overtime or have a part-timer come in. And the tough part with the part-timer, especially since the budget failed, is don't have enough to cover vacations now. You know, that's, in the budget, I had it for, I don't know, 3/4 of their vacation, something like that, so. Part-time help would get overspent a little, but right now, where there's no baling going on and everything goes in the trash or is handled by the skid steer, Matt feels very comfortable in trying it on his own. Me and him sat down, talked about it, and he was the one that volunteered to me to do it, 'cause
And when would you end then, the end of August?
well, we don't have an ending date. I guess see when it really starts getting dark and how well it works. I participated in a number of these and I don't think makes much of a difference, but do try to get along with the public and their wishes, and I know there's a late night here, so we'll try it and we'll report back to you.
No, if one person stays Tuesday night, beyond, what is it, about 2.5 hours? 4:30 to,
Yeah, 3. So it'd work a very, very short day or not come in on their Thursday.
That's what I was thinking.
Is what it would be.
because Thursday right now is,
They work a
they
4-hour
work
day
a
on
4 hour,
Thursday.
but it's to
The other thing I'm
clean
looking
up.
at is a safety thing. There's so much so much moving around up there, I don't know if that's, to have one person there is,
It really ought to be two.
it should be. Ideally, I don't know,
Well, the problem with that is just, there isn't any.
The
I know.
budget.
the budget, but you gotta, you know,
'Cause they
you got a
gotta
bunch of
have-
moving parts, you know, between
You know,
them.
Matt's gonna take Thursday off, or most of Thursday off, and Bill will be all day Thursday.
Well, I mean, at least on a Thursday, there's guys at the shop coming in and out.
Right, what I'm saying is if Bill stays till 7, they both take Thursday off, then it defeats the Thursday day of catching up. That's the
Yeah,
problem. That's their
that's true.
catch-up day, so. That was the reason we used to be open 5 days a week, but the traffic flow got so heavy up there, there's just things, you know, running equipment that we try to save for Thursdays, like crushing cans and stuff when there's
Yeah.
nobody there. So that's why it was chose way back then, if I remember correctly, of having a day that they work with no
You
public
can't
up
keep
there.
up, if you're open 5 days a week, you can't keep up with tin cans,
No.
Yes,
stuff like
you
that, you
presented
just
it last
can't do it, that's what's going on. That's why we closed that half day Thursday.
And right now, it would just be trash, so what you'd have to do is sit and man the office, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
And he feels comfortable with it, I certainly wouldn't ask him to do nothing that wasn't, comfortable feeling for them guys, so.
I think the other thing is see how many people show up. If
Well,
you only
that's
get
a
one or
trial-
two cars coming
That's
in
why
there,
we didn't put an end date on it yet, I guess. If we could leave that open, definitely say, you know, some fall and winter months, it's not a year-round thing, but, if it doesn't work, we'll just stop it after a couple, 3 months. I mean, it's June now, so July, August, September, 3 months of trying it, we'll have an idea for next year, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless we have two people there, I don't feel comfortable doing it, just from a safety standpoint.
I thought I muted that, sorry about that. I hit my button, it says it was muted.
I agree with staying open late one night, but if we can't have two people there, from a safety standpoint, I don't think we ought to have that liability. I get that Matt's gonna be sitting in the office, but something happens to him and there's no traffic down there, I'm not comfortable with it.
Other thoughts?
I would agree with John on that one. Just because there's gonna be no DPW guys down there, you don't know what the traffic's gonna be like going down through there for as far as, the public.
And in today's world, God only knows what could happen with somebody.
Oh, I agree. I mean, well, it could happen plowing snow for 24 hours too.
Let me ask you this, and it's, how about, at the outset, put a part-timer down there with them and see how it goes. It depends on how much traffic you got, at least,
I'm allowed to go over budget in that line. That's the problem.
well, it's a bottom line budget, so.
I'm trying to find, you know, we didn't ask anybody's willingness on it, I guess. They, I don't know what they do. And then they have a rotating working schedule for Saturdays.
I love the idea of staying late and just if
I mean,
we
it was
if we
something
get a
that was
second
hit big
body.
on social media and just trying to accommodate a little bit.
I mean, I
And
guess
thank
it's
you for
I guess
Matt
it's a
for
work in
volunteering.
progress.
Yeah,
But
thank you to Matt for volunteering to do it.
I completely understand what you're saying, but I mean, plow snow for umpteen hours on and in too by yourself.
Yep.
You get out and kick your tires and go to the bathroom.
Well, the other thing
You
is,
could
and I
slip and
could
fall
see,
down.
But you got
Get out there.
at least you got a radio. There's always other people on the
Fall
road.
outside and hit the back of your head, it's a long ways climbing the cab of the truck to get to it. Just to give an analogy, you know, I understand,
I get what you're
I know
saying,
what
too.
you're saying, but I don't know, I suppose there's always something you could think of.
well, I guess.
We were
let's
gonna
think-
start on the 23rd, which is next Tuesday, if we do it. So.
How about we chew on it a little bit and wait 2 weeks and then come back, see if you get something with a part-timer and come in, was it, after the next meeting, it'd be the 30th?
Any community service people?
We haven't had one in a long time. We had one that claimed that they did community service and the
Never showed up?
officer. No, the put down that done the hours, the officer called up because she couldn't give her sign-off sheet.
Just
Said she
recently?
lost it, yeah. And I says, I'm sure I would have seen him, but before I say no, let me ask. I called Matt, I said, you ain't had nobody up there. No. Is it okay? So, to answer your question, no, we had someone claim they did. It's too bad, we used to have a lot of them, I don't know what happened to them. It's too hard to work, I think, is what it is. Year or two,
Too messy.
about 2 years ago, we had a couple younger girls, and we had them down the highway. Joe had them wash windows and stuff. I kept them out of the public up there. There was times, there was 3, 4 of them, you had to kind of stagger their shift, find something to do. I used to have them pick up trash and mow the lawn.
Well, it's funny because I was approached about some community service for, the high school still requires 35 hours.
Yeah,
If we got something, I mean, if you let it sit maybe for a week, and maybe we get some high school seniors that need 35 hours.
Yeah,
Second body's a second body.
yeah,
Right,
because
but
they're gonna
these guys
start,
usually
just,
drive
I
and
think
ready to
some,
graduate.
we'd be happy to have them, but I think something like that would not maybe be dependable, maybe.
well, you might
they
get
need
somebody
the
that
hours
is.
to
They gotta have
graduate.
35 hours to
We're gonna have
for
to
their
schedule
graduation.
something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If we're gonna do this till 7, we gotta know that they're gonna work.
I could probably drum you up 2 kids that have asked.
The only concern
got
is
to
what,
know-
what happens if one of these community service kids say just don't show up? Do we not open up?
I mean, I think this is a thing we could go on what ifs forever. We're gonna have to decide we're gonna do it or not, cause same as my part-time, what if someone gets sick, has a death in the family, gets the COVID and something, they can't show up to work? I mean, we told the public we're gonna open, we kinda gotta open. That's the worst thing you do, is tell people you're gonna do something and not do it.
Yeah.
If you want volunteers, you just require 2 or 3 volunteers. They're not any fees in the town, and if 2 out of 3 show up, you're good.
Right? I don't have no luck with volunteers, so.
Do you want to,
I can ask about
Give
the
it-
part-time stuff.
yeah, do you want to give it a couple weeks? Unfortunately, we're going to meet again the
30th,
29th.
The 29th. That's what I'm saying, see if you can get,
Yeah, in
drum
June, we
something
only got
up
July and
part-time.
August.
And, and while we're on the transfer station, what are you doing for 4th of July? 4th of July is a Saturday. The reason I fielded a phone call today. So 4th of July is a Saturday, and Saturday is typically a day that you work, so you would be closed. The office here is closed on Friday, but we don't work Saturday. So I'm guessing that Matt's gonna be closed
We got-
Saturday.
Yeah, should, cause that is the holiday.
It is the holiday.
Closed, right? Yeah.
So we should probably put something on the website about being closed on Saturday, July
Yeah, it
4th.
did fall on Saturday, didn't it?
Okay. I was correct then. So,
Some things you just don't think of.
No,
I-
no, you don't. It's just,
Yeah, 'cause
it's
it's
people are
strange.
already looking ahead, so.
Was it every 7, 8 years, these holidays come around to a day that screw you up? You know,
Yeah,
same
'cause
as
it's a leap
Christmas
year.
and New Year's.
It's every year to me.
Yeah, I know.
Every year.
So, I didn't mean to interrupt that, but I
No.
mean, I don't mind reaching
good
out, because I
question.
was asked by a parent of 2 kids that need community service of what they could do.
Well, we're happy to always have community service. I had a different parent ask me 2 months ago when I never saw the person.
Okay.
We're always happy to have them. I just don't know about.
So if
There's
you're,
a
if you're okay with it,
schedule
I think
on
we
it.
could talk about it on the, briefly on the 29th.
Yep.
Because we're gonna have a public hearing for the Chase Park for the walk-ins,
Yep.
right? We're still gonna move forward with that.
Yep.
So at that case, we could do the same, and I could probably get you a better answer, and maybe you could have a better answer with part-time?
Yep.
Would that work?
Yep.
Okay.
Check with the police chief, see if by any chance they can shuffle some down. That's where we always used to get them.
Oh, through the court system, yeah.
Yeah, court systems, where we
Well,
always
the
used to.
court hasn't been held.
They haven't been having court though. See, the courts are just starting to reopen now. They'll start opening the next week or so.
Yeah, Matt just texted me, said that's one reason he was excited to start right away, is this will kind of maybe help a little bit with the 4th of July thing.
But we could open before 4th of July.
2 days.
Be the next day, like the 30th. If you guys are okay with it.
Well, when is the,
Well, and
Well,
I
mean,
guess,
if you
so Benji, you think you could get a part-timer? I mean, I understand what he's saying, and 2 weeks is a long time. If you could find someone to work part-time.
I could probably, if they will, so let's do this. If I can get the guys, get somebody to work with him, we start before the 4th, and if, so it might help.
Okay.
And if it isn't gonna work out with all the,
2 Tuesdays in before the 4th.
and if it doesn't end up working out with them, we'll just have to mince it then. You know, I'm sure I can find somebody for the next 2 Tuesdays to help out up there. Even if it's overtime for a couple weeks, and then if it doesn't work out, and isn't gonna work out, we'll just have to end it.
We just have to make sure we notify, what, the website? Put it on the website?
Which kinda stinks, cause it really sucks starting something and changing schedules. I mean, that's something I always hated about doing this type of thing when I worked up there. You know, schedules change.
The only way to really
schedules
test
change.
it is a long-term test. That's the problem. With a lot of communication.
We're just not geared up for all that extra. That's all. We don't have enough people now, and I think that's been talked about, and so, we're trying to make do. And
You still using the sign, your new sign? for-
yeah, every week. This week we haven't used it a ton, but, or this last week, but it's gonna be, I was gonna put it up tomorrow for Tuesday, but it's
Yeah,
gonna
I was
be,
just thinking you could put it up down there.
oh, it was gonna be
advertise.
put up,
Yeah.
but I got lots of road work coming too. It's gonna get put up tomorrow.
Where are you gonna be?
Maybe we could put something on the town hall
Yeah.
message board.
Well, I'll put it on my little message board up at the transfer station for a couple of days if I get the.
Oh, yeah, but I was thinking that one right
That
now
one's
is
what,
pretty,
Stagnant?
yeah. Put something new up there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then put something on the town website.
So we're gonna move forward with Tuesday the 23rd?
As long as there can be 2 bodies there, then I'd say yes.
If you can get somebody. Yep.
So what is Tuesday the 23rd, you're gonna be open until 7?
Yep. Yeah, I'll just have to shuffle it around, figure it out.
And you're thinking ending that when?
He's not sure.
As the hours of light diminish.
Yeah.
Or the demand. I mean, there's no sense in, on the average, if he's up there till 7 o'clock, there's nobody,
Yeah.
one car comes in after, 1 or 2 cars come in after 5.
I guess I
That's-
don't have an end date,
I
but by fall, you know, before winter, I mean, winter's December 21st, that gives you way more than enough, right?
Let's revisit it,
Of August and see how it's
And I
going.
guess I'll let you guys
Middle of
know,
July.
if this works out,
I
I'll
was
let you
thinking,
know
I
when
was
we
thinking
decide to
Labor
stop
Day,
doing it.
whatever
Well,
meeting is right around Labor
I
Day.
think just get updated, because if he's not getting any more than 1 or 2 cars, and we've
There's no
got,
sense of doing it.
there's no sense in doing it. If he's getting, you know, after 5 o'clock at night or 4:30 in the afternoon, if he's getting, you know, only 2,
Well, you
3
can do
cars.
it as John suggested, though. You could do it and update it. You're gonna try
Just
the,
update us.
the 410s here, you're gonna do it after Labor Day.
Yep.
So we could talk about what's
Yeah, so
transpiring
see
there
what
as well.
happens.
But we need to have a long enough test to, just a 1 month. if
Quantify
we-
some data.
Yeah, because if,
And if it is working, then it's something that probably we ought to figure out how to rearrange the schedule to accommodate it permanently, if it does work.
You're gonna have to get lights up.
Well,
Rather
You're gonna
than
have to,
just
you're gonna
filling
have to
in.
do a lot of work up there to get more cover
No, 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 I'm
in the
saying-
wintertime for people
No,
and,
I'm saying it's
No,
seasonally permanent.
seasonal, yeah.
oh, seasonally, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
let's see
I
how the
put-
summer goes first.
Well,
I just would put them hours in the part-time budget like I
Yep,
tried for vacation, but we gotta get budget to pass.
hopefully this year.
So,
Okay.
how about your road projects? Where are you at in that?
so next week, we're gonna pave Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They came in Friday and patched all the culverts that I had dug up. Cause some of the overlay roads needed, probably all of them, but some of them had really bad culverts I had to replaced them. Instead of just overlaying the road and when you hit that culvert patch, only having this much pavement or 1.5 inches of pavement, what the overlay is at that patch, I like to dig them out 2 inches and have them put 2 inches of pavement on top, so it's like the rest of the road, you know? So it goes like this instead of, you know, so that's what we did Friday. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're gonna pave, supposed to. They're overlays, so weather could affect that. They don't overlay in the rain.
What roads you
Which
hitting?
roads are you doing?
Oh, they're gonna do Ridgeview and Martin one day. They're gonna do a Thorndike, the piece I ground up,
Oh, yeah.
and the Shady Hill and the Abijah Bridge, that whole area.
Yeah.
That's 2 days. And Bartclough, Barnard Hill, and Roosevelt one day. Obviously Barnard Hill, River Road in, because that's where Bartclough is, and I've already done the other end. So.
What about the one, the road up on the mountain there, is that gonna get done this year?
Bogue?
Both,
Yeah, it's ground up.
it's all ground? Yeah, I've been up, so I didn't know.
It was ground April 30th.
What'd you say, Barclough, Barnard Hill, and what?
Oh, boy.
Thorndike?
Don't write it down.
Roosevelt.
Yeah, so
I already got it all but that.
Barnard Hill, Barclough, Roosevelt's one shift.
I got the rest.
Oh, okay. Ridgeview, Martin, and Brown Ridge, because I didn't say Brown Ridge.
Colby.
It's coming, it's just not this shift.
Okay.
How's the roadside mower going? With
I'll use it when we get somebody put in it.
And you
Doesn't
still,
get any further from the shop than going to Bogue Road. So
No, no.
Yeah.
you got, you
and you're
know,
still short somebody,
Yep.
right?
no. Well, my part-timer, which, we don't use much in the summer, and I've got Chris, so no. Yeah, I am. The position's filled. The being is not at work, yes, you're right. I don't have no open positions.
Yep.
And they're gonna do a second round of spraying on that knotweed this year?
Yeah,
They usually do it toward the end of the summer, if they.
they did one this spring.
Oh, they did do it this?
Yeah. I think they might have done it a week early, but
Well,
try to stay out of it. I did that, so I know a little bit about it, but I tried to let them do their thing. The fall application certainly worked better. I don't think it was all up when he sprayed it. First time
This,
he sprayed.
I mean.
But
places it's
the
pretty
contract was from fall of last year, spring of this year, and fall of this year. So 3 applications. It has certainly made it sick, put a hump on it.
good. Oh, yeah, it did. It knocked it down. I do see in places where 95% of it's gone and there'll be some little
Yeah.
bit.
It's very tough stuff. They claim that they buried it 35 feet in the fill and it came up.
Yep.
It's just,
Wow.
and we do it, you know, highway department, state, they do it because before we knew anything about it, you know, we'll dig it up and get it out of there. Well, 1 inch of root grows 3 new sprouts. So if you take an excavator and dig it all up,
Yeah,
you've made
when they
hundreds of
put that
thousands.
new railing in there on, right there by Perkins Pond, they put a bunch of fill in. It was full of that knotweed. I'm telling you, I cut all the time. I got more of it on the other side of the road again. Crazy.
So I got a couple things. Any other questions though? I mean, I don't come very often. If there's anything,
No,
I got you know, I got a couple things. Not gonna try to poke the bee's nest, but I got one correction I got to make that, and I actually spoke to Naomi, and I wish the chief would have stayed here. I would have said something. Last meeting, I'm sorry. Comment was made. There was a question asked about when the signs are coming for no parking on Reservoir. There was a comment made, said, I don't know, I ain't heard from them guys in over a week. I got a stack of emails of Joe emailing back and forth between the other department and the prison, and that's not true. We were on it every time we got questioned. There was changes in what the signs had to say, how many signs, and so just, we were asked by Naomi, and we did what we were asked to do, and haven't heard to say order them, so they're still not ordered. We can't decide how many we want. I hear 25, I hear 40, I hear 50. The quote that we got, I don't think we need that many anyway. They kind of frustrate me a little bit because if we ever get another winter and we have 50 of these things, and we need to shelve snow, they're gonna get knocked over, and then the highway department's gonna have to put them back up.
there'll be a-
To me, if they're impeding traffic, it should be against the law. But I'm gonna stay out of that part for now. It's my 2 cents on it. But there is a price difference. If you think you're gonna want more later, there's a price difference buying them all at once. So 25 is the cost of 25. 40 puts it over the $1,000 mark. Anything over $1,000, 10% discount. So there's $160 discount on the order that was put in, or that was requested. We put in when they find the funding. So they're not ordered anyway. If you want me to order them, I will have Joe order them, but I need to know how many.
Coming out of Parks and Rec, police, or DPW?
I mean, I
Probably
think
both,
that's
Parks and
where,
Rec and Police, I would say.
well, I think you have to put them where, I mean, that's, my thought was, to order 40, cause you get the discount, and not put up 40.
Yeah.
Because there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna spray paint one, knock one over,
Yeah,
and
I
and
mean,
then
and I
instead
don't
of-
think you need 40 to cover that stretch of
But
road.
I
at
don't
the-
either. I think if you had 10 of them going down.
Well, you
through
need
there-
more than that to make it proper, but I think,
The ones you got quoted, Benji, were they printed on both sides or just single-sided? Because I remember the chief mentioning 2 options with that.
I don't know how you
how you single, double
It
sided.
said screen sign, 12-inch by 18-inch aluminum.
He was putting them, don't put them on the opposite side of the road instead of on the side with the guardrail. No parking on either side is what he wanted to say.
Okay.
They're white and red. No parking either side, towing enforced is what they're gonna say.
Okay.
Signs are $19 a piece. The posts, which is 10-foot channel green channel posts, are $21 a piece. For a grand total of $40 a piece. I don't care. We were helping out, and it's kind of turned into a crazy
Something needs
thing.
to happen soon on that.
Well, if you don't order them now, you won't get them till Christmas, so.
Who's buying them?
That's the
That's been the
question.
argument all along,
Who's buying them?
not me.
Well, I
Can we
mean,
call
we-
Chief back?
we need to have them, so whether Chase Park or whoever.
Come from
You guys can decide and let me know, and as soon as someone lets me know, I'll tell Joe to hit it, and he'll,
What's the lead time to get them?
well, we usually a week or two we get our stuff. I mean, this is quite a number. I don't know, I never ordered 40 of them. There's nothing, and this is kind of a custom thing. This was stated what they want to say. It's not like a stop sign, for instance. They may have a shelf full.
How much is it each, you said? 40 each, including the
19 a
post?
sign, 21 a post.
It's $40.
$40.
What's that?
So for 25 of them, it's $525. Oh, no. $1,000.
40 of them, you get the discount because it was $1,600.
Yeah, it's $14.40.
It's $14.40.
Just let me know. I'll hit it. I'll have Joe hit the button, but that was, that's why they're not ordered yet. They haven't been told to order them. The police chief asked me, and he tells me to, then I'll order them.
And you can't enforce it without a sign.
Yep,
Yeah.
Pretty
can't be
simple.
any enforcement. They've already up their parking.
So
on the
if
road,
you're
so-
worried about where we're gonna pay for it, I think it's gonna have to be paid for. I mean, what is it for? I mean, the chief doesn't have a sign line, I don't think. Benji only has enough for his signs, so I believe Chase Park would have to pay for it. And if you overrun Chase Park, you overrun Chase Park, but it's a necessity for traffic and everything else there.
I will, speaking of traffic, I will talk chief too, not right. I didn't stay, but,
Do they
I
have,
would like maybe police car blue lights on. I'm gonna only assume that we're gonna be asked to put them in. If not, then I'd be tickled pink not to do it. I got it, I just see the writing on that wall that I'm gonna be asked to put
Well,
them in.
I
And that
think
is,
if you're
that's
gonna-
dangerous down there, so we're putting them in if we could be, assisted on that day.
I
Why don't we make
I
a,
don't see an issue with that.
make a motion to get them then?
I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with signs.
I think to get, they want 25 to put up. I think 25 is probably about right. And we have the extras.
But do we
Because-
need the additional posts?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the posts that are down there. I mean, I wouldn't get all the posts. I wouldn't get 40 posts. I'd probably get away with 30, get 10 extra posts.
So what if we go 30 posts and 40 signs?
Yep,
30 posts, 40 signs.
Yep. Yeah, because I
Anybody have an
mean,
issue with that?
the posts that are up there now, going by there and watching the posts that are on, what signs are left that you can find are all bent, twisted, and junk, so
Alright, and what line are we gonna take it out of? Or are we gonna split it amongst different departments?
I think we'll have to figure that out. It'll probably come out of Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec?
The whole thing out of Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Do they have a line that would even align
They
with
have
Parks
Chase
and Rec?
Park. They have a
Yep.
couple lines for Chase
They have
Park.
a couple of ones.
One's water or something and one's something else.
I'd like to bring Parks and Rec in. I think they're out there, just so we can ask them that. It's their budget.
It's true.
Lisa's not here, is she?
No, Janine's the chair. Janine,
Chair?
do you mind paying for signs?
I mean, do I mind paying for some?
The signs of
no
no
parking
parking
signs.
either side?
Probably, I'd have to look at the budget to see how much are the signs.
Oh,
Both,
$40 a show.
both,
How
both.
many?
$40 for 40 signs,
40.
$1,600.
We'd have to vote on it.
See, whatever. It can be another month, and that's what's gonna happen.
Let me know. Joe will order them.
Okay. Because, I mean, they start parking up there, there's not gonna be any enforcement.
No, well, you have to wait.
We'll have to wait.
We'll get back to you.
Alrighty, that's all I had, other than, has every part-timer that's been hired since my part-timer been interviewed by the Board of Selectmen?
Nope.
Even been hired?
We had adults that were hired through Parks and Rec.
They were interviewed by Parks and Rec.
They weren't interviewed by us,
Interviewed
Correct.
by us.
so, which is our policy.
Our policy is to interview
We
everyone.
had him come in even though he interviewed somebody, so. And we
If
failed.
anybody's interested about the truck, I talked to Bucky. Only about 2-week delay
Which one?
Which one?
so far, the big one.
About
Don't
the,
get me started on the little one. It has a VIN number. Did you know they make the VIN number before the truck? Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, they assign it to you like a voucher.
Okay,
Yeah, like a coupon.
okay,
Yeah. Now you got a coupon, but no truck.
okay.
so you
Well,
got
that's what
the,
I have.
that's what you got.
And the build date on the big truck was July 1st, and now it's moved back to July 17th, which still gives us plenty of time for the body company. Could be delays from there because parts come from all over the world. We don't know how they're doing.
So it's still ahead in a way.
So we're okay for now, as long as wherever they get their parts.
The Rona's
Nothing
really
we can
screwed
do
everything
about it.
up this
Everybody's
year.
the same.
No even close ETA on the little one.
Oh, that's just what I got. And that was news to me that,
We have a VIN number.
hey, we got a VIN number, he says. I said, okay. Well, I guess, I don't know, but.
You got a number, just don't have a dash to put it on yet.
Take a
All right,
number.
thanks, guys.
Thank you, Benji.
Thank you.
Hey, Ben,
Alright, so,
we got the building inspector.
It's take a number.
yeah. So, Kelly, Bob, and Kyle.
We're at max capacity.
No.
With
we're still
them.
over.
That's
6
three.
and 3.
It's 9. All right, so we can take one more. Well, Frank.
Oh,
that should be
don't
okay.
sit too close together. 6 feet.
6 feet.
Is she by herself out there? Janine, you by yourself?
I am.
Okay.
There's room for
Frank
one.
left?
I guess.
Oh, I
The
didn't
water's
see him.
nice.
He's chasing Benji out the door.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where's my
Up here by
Right
the
up in the
podium.
front, second row. Okay, the next item is the building inspector reorganization discussion.
Chief, you want me to lead it?
You might want to pull your mic up. Check.
Okay. So, Kelly and Bob and I met on Friday. As you know, we also went to Loudon a few weeks ago and had a conversation with how they can do the inspection process. Kyle was asked to come in because there was a lot of talk about maybe having Kyle help us work through the transition to make the transition even smoother. How we looked at things was the Kelly would still be doing all the administration here. The fire department's not going to review the plans or take any money or things like that. So all the administration work would be done here, and Kelly would issue the permit. Then the physical inspections would be called to the fire department and scheduled with the secretary. We've talked about the web Q&A, which is the system that Kelly inputs the building permit stuff into, is a web-based, and we were talking about using a tablet so that, you can note the inspections in the field. I'm not sure where we will go with that, but we'll move forward. We talked about a technical review meeting. Once Kelly has reviewed everything and ready to issue things, we would have a technical review meeting. Basically, we have a 3-part form that once the inspection would be done, one of the forms could be left in place so that they know they were there. But I think that it may sound like we don't really have a plan in place, but I think the plan's gonna be fluid, and the plan needs to be fluid for the fact of there's a lot of parts that, there's gonna come things that are gonna crop up that we're not sure of. But I think having a good working relationship between Bob and using Kyle if he'd like to, we'd love to have Kyle to make a smooth transition. We haven't really talked all together, but he's here, and thank you for coming. So I made a few notes, but I'm gonna actually let Bob and Kelly talk if they'd like to see where, I guess we don't have a plan like this, and this. I think it's gonna have to be, I think it's gonna be a work in progress. So I guess your decision is, do you want us to move forward with getting an inspector to work under the fire department and let that change or take its form? Or do we continue doing what we're doing? And I think it was brought up with the fact that I can see a lot of positive in moving forward with the fire department. It's not something new. Loudon does it, Merrimack does it. We know some of the other places do it as part of being under there. Do we have one person ready, picked out, and ready to go? No. You know, there's some hires being made right now at the fire department that you may have a fit with one of them. Not sure. But at the same time, I think we have to move forward because we've been sitting with doing it and accepting pictures and things like that. It's you guys wanted to hear from us. We've spent a lot of time talking about it. I personally think it's the right thing to do. It's moving forward for the future. I can see it changing a little bit as we grow. But again, I'll tell you what we talked about, and I'll let Bob or Kelly speak if you want to do that.
Chief?
I think that kind of captures where we're at currently. It's all kind of based on the model that I work in now, which is the applicant comes here, they propose whatever it is they're going to propose. A permit's issued by Kelly. Perhaps that requires some plans review, perhaps it doesn't. And when they're ready for an inspection, they call me and I go out and do the inspection. Obviously, this is a much broader scope, but we're also trying to contain it within the, or my part selfishly is just the inspectional piece, is the person that goes out and actually looks at whatever it is, the framing, the electrical, the plumbing, mechanical, you know, all the fire stuff, you know, the half a page of stuff that we're doing now. And so I think that conceptually it is a very, I think it all kind of falls into the same bucket. It'll take some time to get someone or more than one person in our shop to totally get up to speed. But I think it's just a process of, yep, we're going to do this, and then we can start to, one, identify who those people are, what do they need for education and training, and work on getting that up, you know, getting that person up to speed, and also, you know, assuming Kyle is the one that's going to continue to do some work here as we go forward, is, you know, use that relationship, mentoring piece.
I'm assuming there's some kind of continuing education with these certifications?
My assumption is that you go through the process. We looked at the ICC program, is the ones who do the International Residential Code. There is a multi-step process to become certified as an inspector in all of those disciplines, if you will. I think they have really a soup to nuts program of, you know, getting someone to that inspector piece, and there's always continuing ed to keep them current.
Yeah, they know that.
Codes change.
Monthly meetings, the association.
Yeah, I mean, there is a, what is the name of it? New Hampshire Building Officials. They meet on a monthly basis. It's a great networking program. But like anything, there's constantly training, and assuming it's similar to the NFPA codes, they're evaluated and updated constantly. Some of them on my side, they're adopted by reference through, you know, NFPA 1 or NFPA 101. The IRC is kind of a standalone. It's all contained and it's their document. So
This may have been asked and answered once before, but with this possibly falling under the purview of the fire department, how do the Board of Fire Wards fit into this? Would that person report to Board of Fire Wards?
He'd be a fire employee, he'd be an employee of the fire department.
Well, I think, so what we had, or what I had envisioned was that we were gonna make a number of hires. We're at 4. We'd like to bring 4 more on to get to
Full-timers.
our goal,
Okay.
of having, full-time staff. This was a way to, almost from an economy point of view, is to say, well, we might have some time in their schedule that, hey, you know what, we could perhaps take this on. One, because we're already out there doing some of this already, and 2, there's a benefit to the town because you're spending some amount of money for an inspector, and you're getting an inspector, and you're spending some amount of money for a firefighter EMT. If you could combine those two, there's an economy there to be had. And I think, I'm a big believer of inspections because that's the safety net, if you will, for the residents, that they've spent their money. I think we all have stories of where people are spending very good money for a product, and they might not be getting what they think they're getting. So I think that that's important, and I think that there's a role that we could absorb into the fire department, in the vision of what that builds out to. And if that is going to be the track that we're on, that's going to have us look at candidates perhaps slightly differently than we're looking at them now.
Okay. Do you speak for the Board of Fire Wards on this? Or has Board of Fire Wards?
Yeah, so I speak from the Board of Fire Wards because we talked about this
Years.
when Chip was leaving, let's say a
Okay.
year and a half ago.
Okay.
And at the time,
Oh, man.
well, he's still the chair, is Steve Colburn, who's the fire prevention guy in Hooksett. And we also had Rick Hood, who is in the industry on the fire alarm
Yep.
side. And, they can see that that's a fit within the fire department.
Okay.
We talked about Merrimack, Franklin's another place that does
Franklin
that.
does that.
That's similar, kind of size-wise.
I'm just trying to get caught
and-
up on all this.
Yeah,
so-
and Loudon being probably the closest apples to apples.
I think Northampton does some of it also. I went there once, and the building inspector was right in the same building as right in that office next door to the,
Okay.
within the
And-
fire department.
And as we approach this, it's really from a standpoint of we need someone to physically go out and do inspections. And I think we could fit into that. We're not here to look at mission creep where we're looking at, health or land use or any of that stuff.
Now, I guess my question would be, obviously, the priority of the fire department EMS is to respond to calls.
Yep.
If there was an incident at time of inspection, or scheduled inspection, we'll say, is there gonna be a backup? And B, how would you handle that? Would it be only one person and their shift would be the designated, their shift would be the designated day for inspections? Or would it be multiple members of the full-time force that had this cert, so you could kind of stagger it around a couple days? Just,
Yep.
I don't know if we've crossed that bridge yet or not.
So, there's a couple moving pieces. Assuming that we have someone in this round of hires that could pick up
Troubleshoot.
some of that slack. I'm still in the mix currently. I think looking at today to some point in the future, certainly next budget cycle at the earliest, and it may be out even further, that it could be a part-time person, from in the foreseeable future. And so if it were someone working a part-time schedule, that would be more lined up with that workday piece. And so the risk of missing that inspection or that interruption in work would be much less.
Well, I mean, I think
in the initial
in the
go.
present, I mean, if we have, and we've had it, when Chip was here, and I know Kyle, if they were busy, because Kyle had a limited schedule, but if they were busy or something happened that they couldn't make it because of either illness or
Sure.
something else came up, I mean, they just rescheduled it. So I think if they
Right.
call for service, just tell them, hey, I'll be back, I'll see you tomorrow.
Right, I
Well,
just think there's
and-
gotta be a
and-
way to notify, that's all.
Yeah.
Right, and I, so a lot of, and Kyle and Kelly did talk to this, a lot of, I think the success that I've had, and I'm sure these two as well, is building those relationships and that people can call you and schedule and they know that, there's a lead time. And then one more thing is just getting back to that, as this builds out, it's very possible that we may have, more than one person doing that. And so then you start to get overlap and sharing of that workload. And if someone's on vacation, then you have someone else to back that up.
That's kinda what I was thinking along the lines of, yeah.
It may be jumping the gun with this question, but
Well,
if,
hold on just
Oh,
a
I'm
second.
sorry.
I'm sure he's been waiting patiently.
A couple of things, because I know right now you'd mentioned that you go out and do inspections on furnaces and chimneys and I don't know what else, but how many hours do you think a week you're spending on that? 10, 15, 20?
I would say easily, it depends on the season, but half my work week is doing that.
And you are an EMT, right?
Yep.
Would it make more sense, and I don't know if Kyle is looking for full-time, that he took over all the inspections? He's all trained as a full-time employee. I mean, I don't know if he wants full-time, but, and that would leave you to do EMT stuff, and then you wouldn't have the interruptions with the inspections.
I think the problem with that is, right now, in this budget cycle on the default, we only have part-time.
Yep.
With a full-time person becomes benefits, retirement, and the whole thing.
We don't have the
And I
money.
think we talked about shifting, possibly using some of the new hires coming along that have already been approved for full-time, carrying it into maybe next year's budget cycle and talk about it a little bit more and maybe use the money that we have as, this is just me, possibly using it to lessen the next two full-time because we already have money. But I think there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, with a full-time person comes the health insurance, the retirement, and the whole thing. So we don't have that right now.
Right now, but you'd have it in March because he's
Well-
got, right? Because you're
No.
gonna be.
No,
If you got approved in March, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm
if
not
we
gonna
put it in the
guarantee it.
building department's lines, but he's going for full-time fire EMS,
And
not
inspection.
not inspector.
Yeah, and then that.
That's just gonna
that
tag
action
along
would be an add-on
extra.
to that position.
Right.
Yeah, and so I come from the point of view of is that multi-role employee. And if we're going to spend the healthcare piece and the retirement piece and the full-time wages, I could certainly use that person. And if the workload is only kind of part-time-ish, and honestly, I don't, and Kyle can speak to that. But if the workload is not a full-time person, then I think it fits better with us because, I think that we have room in our schedule to do that.
But let's face it, we're not
And
a
there-
small
and there's a
community.
savings to the town to do that. If the town wished to have a full-time building inspector, that's,
But we've also
fine,
reduced
too.
our staff back when things were slow. And you'll all remember that. As retirements happened, we never replaced it. We just gave somebody else something to do. So we made this shift to having Kelly and a part-time inspector. I don't think you're gonna live with a part-time inspector, but I think the opportunity, I mean, I came from a world of cross-training. That's why I've worked in every department here. You're looking at a building with 8 people in just this building, that if one goes down, you know what I mean? We're all single office people. So if one goes down for whatever, something happens, I mean, can we pick up the pace? We'll pick up as best we can, but I think we're looking to the future here to sustain something that as the community grows, And I think if you have multi-people being able to do it, I think it fits the community a little bit better as well for the long haul. You know, looking into the future, if you can have 2 or 3 people trained for it, just like he said, if a call comes or if something else comes, I think this is the best route to move in that direction. That's my thought. I mean, we talked about too, is what a great way to keep communication open amongst everybody. You know, the communication that happens now and the technical review part and everything else. I just think it would really be, people would have an understanding with the communication piece of what's going on in the community.
And I think a year and a half ago, like the chief said, I think a year and a half ago, we were in a different situation. We didn't have the full-time staff model really up and running to be able to see where it could be. So,
Well, we were in a different position.
right, that's what I'm saying.
I,
The fire
I think the
department,
town was
right.
in the same position, which is, they found themselves wanting an inspector.
Right.
And so that's what kind of revived this concept again.
Yeah, the other thing is, you know, sitting on the planning board, it seems that now everything that's coming in for the planning board, any new developments or places, now the fire department's being more and more involved. So I think it makes sense to kind of put a lot of it right back and put it into your, you know, like I said, dump it into your basket. But I mean, because you're involved in it anyway. And I think that, you know, at best right now, I think part-time is, you know, Kyle was part-time, and I mean, he had the work there, but it's, it could give you guys another hat to wear, that you're out doing some, like I said, you're doing some of it anyway. You're out doing the life safety stuff and doing, you know, the mechanical part of it, so it's not that much of a stretch to add it in, and then you're gonna have, like you said, have people cross-trained, and it's just gonna add another thing. Maybe one of the new hires would be something to jump right on and wanna go with.
Right. And that, as I mentioned last time I was here, you know, the of all the permits that the town issues, right now, the fire department is doing a third of those. Are responsible for a third of those. And some of them are very simple and some of them are more complicated. But we are involved in this now.
Like I said, every time I've gone to get, you know, it seems like if I have to pull a permit someplace, I'd say 95% of the time, I'm in a fire department. You know, whether it be, I've been in Londonderry, Salem, Hudson, you know, these are the ones you have to go to. That's where they're going. They've got the inspector, enforcement officer sitting in their department.
Chief, do you have anybody to back you up right now as far as your inspections that you do currently?
Kyle has done some.
Okay.
I think Kelly can, but certainly on the like statutory side of things, you know, Kelly's
Those
perfectly
mutual
capable of
aid.
doing that.
We would call them mutual aid for
Yeah,
that.
I just didn't know if you had anybody in his
Yeah,
shop. that
and
could
so
do that.
you know, there's the stuff that people need for state licensing, right? So that's primarily that life safety code 101 stuff. Place of assemblies, foster cares, adult residential, childcare. And then you have the mechanical stuff, which is the gas and heating and those types of things. I think between the two of them, they could do either, you know, half could do one and half could do the other, so.
We also go on the cross-training, right, Naomi was saying, we also talk.
You have to
Oh, yeah, we
go,
gotta come on.
so everybody can hear you at home.
Just to go off on that note about the cross-training, we also talked about somebody coming in and seeing the process that I do, from taking it from the one shot, from the building department to planning and zoning, to inspections, to issue the permits, to enforcement part of it. So we did talk about a lot of the cross-training. Be easier for the inspector, whoever that inspector may be, either off-site or on-site. As Kyle and I worked together, he knew the inspection that he was going out for. So if he went out for an electrical inspection, he knew that I had already processed that electrical permit. And that's what you can see on the web QA too. So
That's good. That's
we'll
handy.
all have to work
Yep.
together on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a plus, and I think we had a lot of good conversation with all of us in cross-training, and we went off on a venture with our mutual aid, but you can only mutual aid another
much.
community for so long.
yeah.
We need to take care of our own community, just like fire department ran into, remember, with the, with the medical calls. I
Yeah.
mean, we've leaned on Mark in Goffstown, and I appreciate he lives here in town, but, he's got another community to take care of as well. And I still intend on keeping the mutual aid agreements, don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
yeah, I think we have to.
But I think we need to move in a direction for the future for us.
I agree.
And I believe that, I think this makes the most sense in all the conversations that we've
We
had.
went over some what-if scenarios,
Yep.
and there may be some glitches along the way, but there isn't anything that can't be worked out with good communication. Anything else? Kyle's turn now?
And if Kyle's willing to make this smooth transition, I don't know that we've had that conversation, but, yeah,
Well, for helping out
yeah.
training.
So Kyle's been gracious enough to stay with us,
Appreciate
and
that.
helping out when Mark, got busy in Goffstown or had other situations happening. But, I mean, I think truly to keep Kyle in and make a smooth transition would be the best thing for everybody, if you're willing to.
No, I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
I think some of the builders' wives aren't happy meeting for an inspection at 6:15 in the morning, but
Well,
Get over it.
Yeah, I don't, and I appreciate you stepping and staying on and helping us through this whole.
no, and I'd be happy to do that if the chief finds somebody and, phone support, or, he wants me to come in for an evening meeting and
Yeah, and I think that would
out.
work, like, we talked about technical review and having multiple people at the table, and Kelly said it. I mean, there's a lot of things you may come up with and crop up with, but I think we could work through that if you guys want us to shift in that way and we can start moving in that direction. I think we can make it happen. I know that doesn't leave you a lot on the table as far as black and white, but I think it could be a work in progress, and we can keep you updated onto where we're going.
Yeah.
I just think that's the way to go. But
Yep.
we need you guys, because I don't want to come back in 2 weeks with another plan, because we don't have a black and white plan. We have what everybody's talked about here,
Get a concept.
and I think you've got the concept of where we're going. But I think if the rest of us can work through it together as a group, which I set in with them, and I'll continue to work through that and keep you guys informed. I think looking ahead to the future, that's the best for this community.
I would agree.
I agree with that. Good enough.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea that the fire department does it. Like you said, he's out on the mechanicals anyway. It gives the fire department an opportunity to see what's being built, the layouts, where the house is set. I mean, on multiple levels, it gives them an idea of, while they're out there, they could say, oh, this one would be a problem if it caught on fire, to get trucks to it. So, in a lot of ways, I think it's a benefit.
Very good.
Well, what's the board think?
Come
John?
back to me later.
I think I can see the positive side of it.
Sherry?
Yeah, I mean, I only thought maybe if Kyle was interested, that he's all trained, that was all.
I would be interested, if it became full-time, and I understand it couldn't at this juncture because of budgets and stuff, but I would be willing to stay in long enough to see if it became full-time. And work through, obviously, what's being talked about.
Okay.
I'm a single medic, not a parent.
Well, I think it's moving in the right direction. I think.
So are you just gonna make a suggestion, consensus, so that we can move on?
I think it's consensus.
I think it's a
yes.
general consensus. I mean, John's said get back to him later, but I think,
And as we progress, I guess, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think the
I
thing
can
is
give
to
they don't
progress.
have to all come back, but we can have a collective, I'm gonna stay in touch with them
I'd say
anyway.
that you're going in the right direction and keep going that way, so.
Give us the cliff notes, we'll be happy.
Yep,
Okay,
yeah.
You guys all set with that? Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
You can send up a smoke signal there sometime when you let us know.
No, jeez. At your 6 feet.
Yep, at your 6 feet.
6 feet of smoke clouds.
That's it.
All right, so Janine had asked to
one
be
is-
put on the agenda.
Next one is
You're
Janine.
welcome to give us whatever you want for other information, like how the park is going.
Yep.
And I know that field discussion has been back and forth a lot lately, and actually I was part of one discussion that didn't quite go that way, but they see idle fields and they want to use it, but, so
lot
that's
of-
kind of what Janine is here for, but I'm just telling you if she's got any updates from Parks and Rec.
Surrounding towns, I guess, aren't letting all the fields be open. I don't know if it's all COVID related or what's going on. So we're getting more, can we use the fields than we've had in the past? So to touch on that first, right now, nobody's using any of our fields because we had quite an irrigation situation this season. So with changing over the director's position and most of the board, we had a contract for irrigation, and it was not upheld, which we found out later through the grapevine was due to a extreme family emergency. So it's completely understandable of why we didn't have our irrigation company helping. So, but with many calls and lots of non-returned calls, we did find after 3 volunteers went out and turned on the irrigation, at least so Bolton could start to turn green instead of brown. We've got a local company that does do irrigation, and they've been on site once, if not twice. And because there's some heads aren't coming up at all, some are just 1 or 2 are missing, so it's just a matter of kind of little tiny maintenance to get it back up and going. I mean, the irrigation systems are running. We have water on the field. They just need little tweaks here and there. But it's been advised to not let any playing going on right now because they need to get back to
So
being
they're brown.
usable. Yeah. So there was currently a local baseball group that was using the baseball field at Bolton, and they're just over at the middle school for a week or 2 until our grass gets back up to snuff. Now we've got the irrigation on, and they were more than willing to, the middle school was more than willing to help out, and they were more than willing to just practice over there, because they were all from town anyway. But recently we've had a few inquiries. As most of you probably know, that probably 90% of the field usage goes to WAC. There are rec, and there's very, very low fees. They charge very low fees, and to the kids, and they're almost all from Wares. Of course, there's a few from Henniker, and there's no tryouts or anything like that. It's everybody plays, So it's a true recreational organization. And they also chip in quite a bit with seeding, repair. When we had that car drive in through Inison and actually tear up the grass, they were the ones that took upon themselves to fix up all the maintenance of the fields they keep playing. They rake it with their own equipment, they drag it after the games and everything. So they already contribute so much. But we've had different organizations recently asking, I don't know how much you want for specifics, but places that charge a bit more. They're not solely local. Some are specifically tryout only, so they're not guaranteeing a spot to everybody. And so we're wondering, should we be asking for compensation as far as wear and tear? These other organizations, are coming in and wanting to use it. Maybe it's not as long of a season or as many users, not as, as many teams, but they're using the fields, and there's going to be wear and tear.
These are out-of-town or for-profit entities.
Yes, it's one or the other, exactly. So, so there's, most of them, there's probably somewhere kids, because they're not going to ask people driving, really far away to come here. But they're charging higher prices. Some of them are tryout, because there's 3 different organizations right now. But it's just, they're not affiliated with the. We also have church groups that come and they just play a couple games, but they don't charge money. So we're not gonna, that's like the local people doing the pickup games here and there. That's a different story. But these. So what I did is I reached out to Henniker. I reached out to Goffstown and Henniker and a couple other towns. I've heard back. I found information from Henniker and from Goffstown what they do. So Henniker actually. So they have a whole fee schedule on their website. I just printed it off. And the fees do not apply to any youth programs that are sponsored by the town of Henniker, the Henniker School Groups, or the Henniker Youth Booster Association. So fees for other groups, so that would, to me, I'd personally interpret that as like WAC wouldn't, fall into this. But fields, they charge either $150 per day if they want a full day usage, which is 5 hours or more, or they charge $150 per team for one season, 8 to 10 weeks, 2 games, and 2 games or practices per week. So,
Janine?
Yeah?
Why are we having other people from out of town come in and use our fields?
so
I mean, I've heard for 20 years or now that we need more fields because we don't have enough fields, but
One-
yet we're letting people from out of town come in.
So this hasn't really been an issue before. We haven't had other people from out of towns coming. This is pretty new to us this year, actually, this last month. One of them currently uses the high school all the time, and the high school said no, because the high school's closed. So they're not allowing it. And the other ones, I don't know, I didn't ask, why are you coming to us? One did volunteer, they were just looking for a field, so I don't know if fields were already promised and occupied, so I'm not sure if they're new. One of the groups said they used a field last year, but it was a lacrosse group, so I wasn't sure if maybe that fell into the WAC lacrosse area last year, and maybe this year they're off on their own, because they came, to us wanting to use the gazebo field for.
I think this is one of those issues where the pandemic has cropped up some unusual circumstances.
That's most likely,
That's what it sounds like.
most
I would
likely.
agree.
But I think sports is also, it's growing too, in general. I don't know if more, no one was, I know, for example, we don't typically have baseball this time, it's usually the season's kind of ending. They didn't get to play. They don't want to be out of practice for next year. So we currently have a later, but, organization doing baseball right now. So it's just things are shifting and stuff. And I don't know if this is a new trend or if it's not gonna, but we want to have an answer for groups that are coming to us,
I think the biggest thing is that, when you said like one of them wanted to have a couple practices or a couple games, twice a week.
Right.
Okay, now what's that, we've got our own home teams
Right.
that we've got to contribute to. And like Sherry said, we've heard the thing that we need more fields, more fields, more fields. Okay. Are we going to cut our throats by letting these other teams come in?
And we don't want to, exactly.
I mean, the thing is.
We've already had local teams conflicting for
Yeah,
field space.
We've already had that,
You know?
that thing, and one of them last year was football versus lacrosse, and
Yeah.
and so, I mean, the thing is that, I don't want to neglect our home teams,
Right.
and we do have a facilities
Yep.
use form,
Yep.
and I think for them to come in for a one-shot deal at $150 for,
5+.
for 5 hours, or, well, I mean, just to come in, period, even if it's 2 hours, I think $150 is not unreasonable.
Right, and the other
Because
thing
we're
is-
the ones that still have to maintain it, we're still
Wait till you
the
hear
ones
what
that go
Goffstown charges.
Well,
Okay,
$50 an hour,
no,
or $1,000 per season.
excellent.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to give the farm away, so to speak, by having them, $150 for the season.
Typically, our facility use forms, or all of our field usage forms are given to us in March for the whole year.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, I don't know every single
year.
schedule and every single game, but almost,
This year's
and
different.
our fields, that's our town, they get first dibs, the football gets the football, and we had them all set, everybody, we were able to negotiate, nobody was gonna be without a field practice for this whole year before everything, changed. So it's more just kind of idle time in the summer when it's not being used. Obviously, if somebody's got the field, then no, but we don't want to see excessive wear and tear.
Well, that's just it. I was going to say, obviously, like Jack said, if the priority is our own home teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We've already had infighting between, looking for real
Last
estate.
year, yeah.
If it happens to be that a field is open and the stars align for all right, yeah, I'm okay with it. If
Right.
nobody's on it.
Right.
But again, I don't think, like Jack said, I don't think if at that off occasion, I don't think 150 is much to ask.
Right.
Honestly,
Right.
for
I
a
don't,
day's-
I don't care if
a
it's
day's
2
time.
hours or 5 hours, it's,
A day's time.
100 and a half is, we have to look at what's gonna happen, because then after the game's over, we gotta do somebody's gotta do the cleanup, somebody's gotta
Right.
pick up the trash, somebody's gotta, make sure the
There's
field's
costs
cleaned up.
associated.
Right.
There's other costs and time associated.
Well, and that was the other thing we
For-profit,
talked
too.
about, too.
Yeah,
Right,
and these are
right.
for-profit teams, I
Right,
mean,
one of them was $250 a student, a person, $250 a person. I know, right? So,
150 to drop in the bucket.
yeah.
yeah, it is, it's a
Well, it
lot.
depends on what you're doing. I
Right.
mean, I can tell you from experience that
That was
when
6
you play
hours
AAU,
Yeah.
week.
you play, I mean, that's a high intensity.
Oh, it is,
yeah.
high
You give up
intensity.
every Saturday and Sunday and you
Sunday.
travel the whole East Coast and
Yeah.
everywhere. But
And they probably go
that's
to
big money to play.
Fancier places with lights and probably more
We do
facilities, you know what I
nights,
mean?
yeah.
They're,
Oh, yeah.
they're,
The field.
Oh, they go to like Gill Stadium, or they'll play.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
You pay for one season and it's very expensive and you have to buy your uniform. So that pool of money
Yeah.
can pay for the rental and fields.
Yeah,
Right,
That's
right.
right. And they pay, they go to like places like Fisher Cat Stadium when they're
Right,
not.
right.
I mean, these baseball teams, or the basketball teams go to the college
Yeah.
venues and play. Yeah, I know, I've been through that too. That's,
So what was the average time that you would say was requested for the field?
so, let's see, this one,
I'm just thinking two different rates. I mean, just to put it forward. I mean, if it's going to be a couple 2-3 hours, maybe it's 100. If it's going to
Right.
be
Do
more
a
than
half day
3,
and a one day.
exactly. And that's kind of what I was thinking.
one of them was more of like a clinic a camp, a soccer camp. And they were looking at total of 36 hours. So they were looking at 6 hours a week, 6 weeks.
Sherry, you had something?
One day per
I'm not
week?
worried
So
so
they were
much
doing 2
about,
hours Monday, 2 hours Wednesday, 2 hours Friday.
Hold on just a sec. Sherry's been waiting.
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, Sharon.
yeah, I'm not so worried about what we get paid if the field's actually open and nobody's using it. But the other concern I have is that they're coming to us this year and this virus is around, and who's gonna actually make sure stuff is cleaned, really thoroughly cleaned
Well, they
down
bring in
there?
their own equipment,
Yeah.
so other
Right.
than really they're using the grass.
And they're using the bleachers.
Well, there really aren't too many fields with bleacher. Well, most of them Bolton's all bring your own chairs
Yeah.
And you've
for the
got-
soccer and the base.
You've got what?
Inison does.
The
don't they have
bathroom.
They do have one set of
Bleachers,
Yeah,
yeah.
of a small set
How
of
about
bleachers.
you've got-
Purington?
We do it. The porta potties are clean once a week,
Yeah.
and that's kind of use
How
at your
about-
own
how about
risk.
Purington
thing.
Field, backup bleachers.
Yeah, it does. The Purrington has there's one set of metal bleachers like
Okay.
three stacks
Correct
high.
correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't this virus die after 3 days on metal surface?
Well,
They
the-
have it-
The
It
governor
varies
just
based on the
opened up
surface.
the
Varies on the
outdoor
surface.
recreation. He just said it's a go for the sports
Social
teams.
distance, yeah, social distancing. you
Yeah,
gotta
bringing in
maintain.
your own equipment
Right.
and 55 coaches for 45 kids.
So I guess if we're gonna rent fields out that we don't think we need, then I don't wanna hear anybody coming back asking us to put another field in.
Well, I don't think that's I think this has thrown a whole curveball to everything. I
is
think
a
that's
strain. Last
I
year,
think
we
that's
couldn't
why
get
she's
field
getting
time.
phone calls now, and
Yeah, we've never really been asked outside
Right.
of WAC other than a church group,
Right.
and we've the pickup games with the adults and stuff. We're not typically asked, so it's mostly just the kids in Ware, how many teams, which we're happy, more sign up for softball every year, more sign up for soccer, and there's teams going on into 7th and 8th grade. I mean, a lot of towns it dies out, but we have kids that want to play starting young and they want to keep playing. That's where not enough fields is, and that's when school's going in session. So this is just happening right now with summer. And with our teams, none of the fields are being used except save one with the baseball right now. So it's a unique situation that because there are no fields being
I don't think
used.
this is a norm.
No.
This is not a norm.
And it might
And then
never
in
happen
August-
again.
In August, you're gonna start to get all your soccer and your
And who
football
knows,
and
like you
everything
said,
back.
a year
Right,
from now,
that's-
it may be,
And they
we'll
have
be
all
not getting nothing.
Right.
right. So and we could come back with if it's decided that we charge a fee. No one would they don't even necessarily, they might not accept it. They might not, we want to play somewhere for free,
I think, like you said, the fees and Goffstown, they're getting, $50 an hour or, that's.
I think they're
But
pretty fancy schmancy fields.
But I think,
Lights.
I think that, they have the fields down there. But I'm looking at it that I don't think, these are for profit teams, or they're getting paid to have these kids come. I think $150, I don't care, half day, full day, it's $150. Just flat rate, done.
Has the
And I think
Parks-
that's fair.
Parks Committee talked about this yet?
So we did, because we've had, nobody's submitted field usage forms, it's just a lot of questions, and we explain, you fill out a field usage form, it's like, well, is there a fee? And it's, it's just different, because when WAC knows the drill, so it's all new. So we haven't come to a decision, we really wanted to talk to you guys, because we know how, it does cause wear and tear, and we see how much WAC already gives, and for it to fall on them,
Yeah.
That's not
somebody
right
else-
either.
That's not right.
Yeah, somebody else using the field and things like that.
I think,
so.
and I guess maybe this is, I don't want to say it's a motion, but I think that we let Parks and Recs mull over the information that Janine has
Come back.
and
on
come
the-
back with
on
a
the 29th and-
recommendation.
And what's your recommendation?
Yeah, I don't think the fields will really be ready to use before that anyway.
No, and come
And-
back with a recommendation, whether it's, it's an hourly, it's a daily, it's a half,
And
whatever.
frankly, I get the feel that the organizations that are asking want a free field or no field. That's kind of where
Well,
I'm getting at. I think
well,
that
sorry.
they've in the past had
Free ride.
free access, and that's we just want to make sure we
Taxpayers aren't
have.
footing the bill for
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
No.
we can't expect the taxpayers to foot the bill for all this. We can't expect WAC to foot the bill for it, and we
Right,
don't have it,
right.
you know.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm open to the idea.
I mean-
as far as charging,
Yeah.
outside organizations, as you stated.
Even if it's a non-profit, I think there still needs to be a rental.
Yeah, I mean, these people have to have insurance. If they have an organized team, they have to be insured,
Do
they have
you-
to have all that
You guys
stuff.
have a field usage form right now?
Yes,
Can
yes,
you-
and it
can
requires
you-
insurance.
Can you email that to the board?
It's on the website.
Oh, it's on the website.
Is it
Okay.
the same one we use?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it's ours.
it is.
So you
It is just
did.
facility use form in general, and then you list
Okay.
the location you're looking for. If
Yeah.
you were going to rent,
I'm just thinking it was like a
a
carry
room.
in, carry out type thing. You're responsible for your trash. I didn't know if it was anything different.
I do have a
We
question.
have a dumpster at every field, so I don't think
regarding,
we've done that yet.
The football teams, when they play, they have a ambulance detail. Is that be due to the size, or is that just because it's requested? Should we?
Maybe that's nature of the sport.
I was gonna say they have a what?
Ambulance.
Ambulance, like when
They have
they,
an
Ambulance. Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I didn't hear
When
that.
they-
They're also, I'll speak, they're also part of the Granite State Youth Football League.
Which requires-
That requires, they have to have.
Yeah, we don't ask for
patched
that.
umpires,
We just
and
ask
so
for
as part of the
insurance.
patched umpires, you have to have an ambulance
they
there.
have to have, and EMTs and.
I'm just
That's
won-
part of the organizational rules that you belong to.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's where you get your teams and your games and everything else.
okay.
Yeah,
So
Be able to
we don't
play
have
Kind of like
anything-
NHIAA for the schools.
So we don't have anything in our books anywhere, either here or fire, that require it
believe so.
over a certain,
No.
certain population.
Not that I've ever seen.
I think it's like the high school's part of the NHIAA,
And
and
they have
the
the
football
detail
league
there.
is part of the Granite State
Okay.
Youth Football League.
Yep,
And it's a requirement that they don't even start without it.
yep.
My
That's
next
the
question is, if we do decide to go forward with some kind of a rental fee or usage fee, where's that money gonna go? General fund, back to
Yeah.
Parks and Rec?
We don't have a
General
fund,
fund.
so it has to
Uh,
go.
Just
Yeah.
like Chase Park money goes to the
Yeah.
general fund.
General fund, I think we'd have to have
We
a public
don't-
hearing on it, wouldn't we?
Would have to.
Well, we're gonna have a public hearing next week, so if you're gonna
Guess
do
I'll
it, we're
bring
gonna add
two.
it.
Yep,
I mean, on the 29th.
on the 29th,
29th.
so we'll have to go, yeah, if you're gonna come in with a fee, then we have to have the public hearing, so I think that's,
Well, I think you just have a
Yep.
public hearing
I think
to
that's what
Just
we
do
gotta
it,
do.
yeah.
establish
I mean-
field
Establish
usage
it.
fees.
If they're gonna go to the
For
Parks
outside,
and Rec fee,
yeah.
we have
For
to,
out-
we have to
yeah, for
have a
outside.
warrant to establish a
Yeah.
capital reserve fund
And
for
I
them.
that was something that I discussed with Lisa that I think we ought to discuss.
That's been
for-
discussed a bunch of times, over and over, and
The other thing, too, is-
hasn't gone, but we should.
Is make sure too that any documentation is in there basically, like we talked about tonight, exempts WAC and school organizations.
Right, I
stuff
mean,
like
there's
that.
perfect wording, what they had in Henniker, it's like,
Yep.
there's certain organizations that already meet all the criteria for the wear and tear
Right, so,
and stuff.
yeah, I just wanna make sure that they're,
Yeah, well, I think it-
well blanketed in there.
I
Because
think
we
it's
had,
covered even under our usage form, if it's a town
right, right.
affiliated thing. that-
And we bounced it around back and forth too, like, do we ask them to take care of like a certain aspect of the maintenance? But that seemed harder to kind of, try to
Yeah.
track down, like,
Yeah,
do
I
you
know.
agree to pay, this part? So it just seems
Just a
like
flat fee.
that seems to make
Yep.
more sense.
So we'll have a public hearing on the 29th for the walk-ins as well as,
Yeah, well, she hasn't covered the walk-ins yet, but yes.
no, but we talked about it
Yep.
before. The walk-ins, but also for the field.
Usage.
Field usage.
And walk-ins, I know we were talking about a number, and I know $2 is mentioned, and I don't know if we were thinking $2 might be a little low, because it was $2 20 years ago.
said
So we're thinking $5 a person, so I don't know if that's something that needs to be.
Has it been much of an issue this past weekend?
Not yet. We're not at capacity yet. I mean, it's when it gets hot, July.
You're
And
still.
Well,
at
this
50%.
week.
This
what are you talking-
we're still keeping it 50%, and we haven't reached that yet.
What are you talking about? What do you-
Have not
what do
reached
you-
that yet.
I mean, the next couple of days is gonna be in the up to the 90s. so
Right. Well,
probably
people are
six,
still
but-
just finding out that we're open. It seems like it's slowly trickling in. They're expecting things to be closed. Like, people are still questioning Clough's reservation only.
All state parks, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
reservation
So,
only now.
which I'm hearing a lot of interesting things about.
And
people.
Clough, the only reason we get Clough is because Clough is located in where? And that's, I spoke to a woman today, she wanted to know what the rules were for kayaking. I'm like, call the Bureau of Trails.
Right.
I mean, I.
Go
the
on New Hampshire.
recreational.
Park at the
because
dam and haul your kayak.
You know,
don't
because
have to
I
talk to
really
anybody.
don't know. I know it's
Oh.
located
All
in
the Army Corps
where,
of
but
Engineers, they'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Go on the website to New Hampshire,
even then it tells you.
stateparks.org,
Right.
and
Right.
it gives
It's
you all
their
the
whole
breakdown and the
different entity.
reservations.
So, yeah. So as far as far to roll into Chase Park, we've been open 5 days. We haven't hit the 50% capacity yet, but we are using the cones and utilizing those when we're open. And so we haven't. It's been going good. The picnic tables have been staying where they needed to be, and people have been walking across the street to smoke on the side of the road instead of in the park.
That's good.
Not sure how the neighbors are gonna like that, but they're not smoking in the park, which is good. We've only had to call the police once for a boat that decided to come in on the shore, not the swimming shore, the inlet side of the shore, that back kind of behind the old bathhouses. Parked the boat and decided we're gonna enter the park by foot from the side of the water.
Excellent.
And when they were asked to leave, they were not complying, so the police were called. They did conveniently leave before the police arrived, but so that was interesting. And we've had a few people. It's always kind of that same. But I am a resident, even though I'm driving a car with a Vermont plate and have no driver's license or reflected or utility bills. So always been that kind of hassle situation of it's always. And then we've been fielding a lot of questions over campers. And they're getting a lot of questions at the gatehouse. How come campers are considered residents? And is it seasonal campers? Is it somebody camping for the night? And they're just questioning the gatehouse, I guess, numerous times. Well, how many people are out of state right now? How many people are going to be out of state next weekend? Like, what's the ratio? Like, if all the out-of-staters fill up the park, how do we get to go to the park? So, and it's what do people-
Continuation of the Facebook arguments.
It is, but and it's coming in person now too. So it is just a lot more questions there, and so we're just saying.
I'll just tell you,
I
we
hope they're
did,
not harassing the kids.
Kristen takes the brunt of it. Fortunately, we had the adult supervisors there, so it doesn't fall on the kids as much. They're
That's good, because it shouldn't.
We told Kristen, it's like, direct them to our park, our park email now that's up and running. We'll harass. We'll take the emails. We'll reply. We'll answer. We'll direct them to the Board of Selectmen if our answers aren't appeasing people, because they're there to check boats and to charge fees. They're not there to answer the questions that we're making the decisions about. It's not their job. So hopefully that'll help with some of that.
yeah, so the one, Friday, the one thing that we kind of cut off fairly quickly, there was a post from, I believe it was Cold Springs, and Karen was gonna call.
I think it's just campers that go to Cold
But
Springs.
they put out a notice that their pools were not gonna be open this year, so they were welcome to go to Chase Park and
And Clough.
And it stated
And
that
the
there was a
drive-in.
lifeguard on duty, so we called them immediately.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, well, we called them right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
lifeguard.
just told them there is no lifeguard, so I
Right.
think they might have amended the post.
Right.
Because we got to them Friday.
Yeah,
Okay.
the signs doesn't,
It says off duty.
it does.
Yeah.
Because it was just on or off, it wasn't
Oh,
showing either or.
It wasn't covered up on?
But
Okay.
neither one of
I'll
them was
have to
covered
check
up,
on
it was
that
just
then.
showing both. when I
So it was
busy
just
with it.
that, we had to just ask them, and it worked out well. They
Okay.
just posted that it was, there is not a lifeguard on duty,
Right.
and so we just, and I think that got
I
amended.
believe their pools are gonna open up really soon. I didn't think
Well,
it
they
was for the
authorized them
year.
as of midnight tonight, starting tomorrow, they can open, that's one of the things. pools
Right.
can
Right,
be
and I
open.
think a lot of things changed as of midnight tonight, but.
Yeah.
Yep, some of
We have
it's.
to stay at
50
And we have to
capacity,
stay at 10 or less, though.
no,
After midnight, no.
no, after midnight, no. The 10 or less is gone after midnight, but you still can't be social distancing and 50%
So, the one
capacity in
that
certain
came out on
venues.
June 11th, the new Safer at Home, I thought the first thing off the bat, is the guidance applies to all outdoor activities situated in recreational or natural settings that occur individually or in small groups of 10 or less people for all the
Yeah,
outdoors.
there's no more requirements of groups of 10 after midnight.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't watch today's, so.
Yeah, that was on Friday, Thursday and Friday when he had
Oh,
his
she's
big
got
announcement.
Thursdays, right?
And
This
then-
is, yeah, this is the 11th.
And then it also came out again today.
Outdoor
that tonight-
attractions.
That's sunsets tonight at midnight, the 10.
Okay.
The rest
Right.
of it though, but you still have to keep social distancing and
Going
venues less
back
than
to the.
50 or
uh,
less,
You
50%.
mentioned that the Chase Park users are going across the street to smoke. We're making sure we're cleaning up over there so we don't upset the neighbors.
That, we can definitely put that on the list of
Yeah,
things
just, I
to
mean, if
do.
because they're probably just dumping the butts right there.
Right
If we-
there, and, yeah.
How can you tell, though, if it wasn't thrown out the window
we-
versus
it
Well,
does-
you'll have quite a few there.
driving by, driving by on the, I mean,
It's
We
littering.
gotta be a
No
good neighbor,
littering.
and we gotta clean it up.
right, right.
Well, put a
If we-
sign out there, no littering.
Well, you know,
No more signs.
you gotta
Sherry, I'm
watch
just
them,
kidding.
because they're crossing that road to go over there, and if they don't have any PPE, it's like vests and stuff, you're putting them at risk with the people fly up and down Reservoir Drive, so.
But if
I
we
think-
know they're going over there and we,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you have to watch it to a point.
It's been once so far. I mean, most people, I think, are just, you
So I
know, they
think
don't
we'll
take
just-
the effort. I think that's a bit of an effort. So, you know, if you're there just a couple hours, but we can I mean, maybe, you know,
Keep
end
an
of
eye
the
on
night,
it
you're closing
anyway.
the gate up anyway, you know, go over there
yeah,
for
quick
a
police,
minute and
police
look.
the cigarettes.
Yeah.
We
No,
gotta be good neighbors
Well,
down
the
there.
other thing
I
is, if
agree.
you're gonna have them pick up the cigarettes, then they better have rubber gloves.
Oh, yeah, no, I,
Which we do.
yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
And
you're-
masks.
you're,
or even,
Like I said,
even
you-
one of those dustbin.
you're putting the
things.
kids at, you know, to go over there and do
Must be
that.
on
And like I
foot.
said,
Just
the
wait
other
till
thing
they
I'm
touch
more
it.
concerned
That
about,
might be a
besides
better way
that,
to
is the
go.
Side
traffic.
of the road, yeah.
That road is narrow and there's not much of a shoulder, and they're out in the road, they're gonna get, and kids are kids, they don't always pay attention, they get clipped, and then,
Yeah, but I mean, I think when the gates are being, you know, locked up and you're almost at the edge
can
of the
check
road
it.
anyway, and you can just,
Or maybe first thing in the
Give a
morning
look.
when it's not so dark.
yeah.
But I wanna be a good
Quiet.
neighbor down there.
No, absolutely, I completely agree with that.
the other thing, I guess you have to bring back to your committee and let us know in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Well, no,
Well,
we're
let
gonna
us-
put it, I have to post it by Friday.
No, I'm
so-
talking about the other thing to bring to your committee, so I mean, before we come back,
Signs.
is the signs.
So, who asked for signs? We didn't ask for signs, did we? Who wanted?
Police chief did,
signs on
didn't
that?
Yep, well, they're talking
First time
about
I heard
roadside
about-
parking, and that was brought up before, so,
Okay.
I mean, and the signs that are there are inadequate and they're illegible and gone,
Non-enforceable.
and they're not enforceable, so.
Right, because, I mean, the first time I heard about the signs was the last meeting that I was here to talk about the
So-
opening and stuff,
So I think,
that's a lot. I mean, our budget, it's been cut recently as far as maintenance. We're looking at the tennis courts have taller grass grown out of it than my lawn does. And we're kind of trying to cut costs. Like, we were a little over budget last year with the actual staff at the lake, and we've, you know, got it down to.
yeah, but I mean,
2
was that
people.
just the line, or was that the total budget?
Well, that was that line in particular.
Okay, But I mean,
so
your
I'd have
budget
to look at
is like
everything.
everybody else's, is a bottom line budget.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
look and see if you've got enough to, I don't think we have to get 40 posts, but I think the signs, and then just get 25 or 30 posts. You don't have to get all the posts that go into the posts of, as much as more than the damn signs.
I just don't think Parks and Rec ought to foot the bill for the entire thing.
No, I
Well, it's
don't,
a true cost to the park.
yeah, it's.
We can see where,
They're the,
You've gone
they're,
up with your.
so to call, it's
fees.
the attractive nuisance, because if the park
Yes,
wasn't there, they
yeah,
wouldn't
we
park
have gone
there.
up with the
Correct.
fees
But
for the
Parks
out
was
of
not the
town.
one that requested it, so.
But the park
We have
doesn't
a
make enough money to
responsibility
support itself.
They don't want them
It's not.
parking there to come in. We had the complaints last year, and this started all last year,
How
and
long
the year
do we
before.
need to hold the 50% capacity? How long is that something we need to keep?
That we
Well, as
don't
long as
know.
Governor Sununu says
Keep the
it.
social distancing, yeah, we don't know. They have to be, so you can keep the social distancing of 6 feet.
Because when the 50% I mean, in past times, as far as reaching capacity. What our adult supervisor said in the past, besides the 4th of July weekend, which tends to be one of the busiest weekends of the year, occasionally you get a car or two that chooses to wait in the driveway and wait 30 minutes until a spot opens up. So it's really, I mean, I don't know how often, I know,
Yeah.
I don't know how often there are cars on the road that shouldn't be to warrant $1,600.
Well,
That's what I don't know.
last year, we had complaints that they were packed all the way up and down to the dam. And At
Definitely.
one point, they were packed on both sides to the point where you
I
couldn't
know
get a car
definitely on
through.
the 4th of July, I do
And
know
that was-
that.
Are these boat trailer vehicles, or are these just regular vehicles?
Everybody and anybody.
I know, yeah,
Okay.
anybody and anybody.
Yep.
You couldn't even hardly get a fire truck up
You,
there.
yeah, you could barely get a car through there because it was packed on both sides. Because I took a ride up last year when they were talking about it, and I'm going, holy.
How much are the little temporary signs you just put out for a little while?
They'll walk
Right now,
away.
we're gonna
And you
have
can't,
a-
they're tough, you-
Fourth of July.
yeah.
That's gonna hurt.
I just don't think parks should have to pay for
Well, we
the
don't,
full amount.
we don't meet before the 4th of July.
I don't,
Our
well,
next meeting is the second
to.
Tuesday in July.
You can't call a meeting earlier?
We're allowed to meet twice a month during the summer.
So maybe,
I think maybe because you're gonna have to discuss these fees
yeah.
before the next meeting.
Yeah, before the
which is-
29th.
Yeah, but, yeah, I think it, personally, I think it should be split between the police department. They're the ones.
Because
gonna
it's
do
a
the
road
enforcement.
safety
The one that
issue,
asked
because
for it.
Huh?
He's the one that wanted it,
Yeah,
right?
No, I think we did.
Well, he brought it, we wanted it because of the parking issues last year, but
Right.
the signs we have up there, which is our responsibility that are up there, that they're town signs, that they're inadequate. They're illegible, missing, and improperly put
What's the
in.
distance between these signs we're talking?
He's saying 75 feet. I'm not sure what the statute says on that.
I think it is.
I don't think-
It's 75 when you post your property, 75 feet.
Yeah, that's on your property, but this is a parking on a
This is a
public
road,
way.
yeah.
Public roadway.
Town property.
Because I'd really want to see, I mean, we're throwing numbers out there, not knowing
Between
how many we
parking, no
actually
parking between signs. You
Well,
can
he
put the
originally threw out
signs-
the number of 40, which I think is,
Crazy.
but I think that was both sides.
I think
No,
No.
I think that was both sides, but also
from both sides of the road.
Yeah.
all the way up to.
Waterman's.
Waterman, which you don't have to go that far.
I think you have to go to the dam and to Waterman.
well, the dam's past Page Hill, isn't it? Oh,
Oh,
No.
before you get, the dam is,
Well,
I'm
it-
thinking
Budget.
when's, okay.
Go to the dam or the gatehouse side of the dam, because you got a gate to the dam, people pulling near the park, or the gate, the dam tend to make, someone
Page
from the
Hill's
state
a
of
few
Weber, but
hundred
from
feet
there,
down on
Yeah,
the
it's-
third- on
it's
the
close.
left.
yeah, a lot further down, and then go from there and towards Waterman. Because,
Who normally pays for any signs in town?
the highway department,
Highway.
yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, we pay for the park signs in the park. We buy the, carry in, carry out, no smoking. We've always bought those signs that are on the park and everything. I don't think we've bought any street signs before.
our last sign debacle was over at the library.
And that was a mess.
Who ended up footing that bill?
We did, and we're not the ones that ordered it.
But we did ask the chief about the signs.
Yeah.
So that's when he went to from one bridge all the way to Pay, and said, that's what I recommend, about 40 signs every 75 feet. So he did what we asked.
Yeah.
And he brought you back the quote. Now, the question is, who's gonna pay for it, and do you need that many? You asked him to do something, he did it,
Yeah,
returned it
I
to
know.
us.
I know.
I don't dispute we need the signs, I agree. It's where the money comes from, out of whose budget, with a bottom line budget. Parks and Rec is already thin as it is.
What is it for 25 signs? What was the price for just?
$1,000.
It was
I
what?
thought it was 500 for an addition.
40 times 25.
$40 a
40
sign?
times- Yeah, with the posts.
$1,000.
$1,000.
Bucks.
But
And then Benji recommended picking up some extra signs, just
Because you got
For
a
vandalism.
In case of
discount.
vandalism, I mean another 10 signs, 'cause
signs only, no posts.
no posts.
Yep.
Or if you
And the
get posts,
signs
you can
were
buy the post
19
afterwards.
apiece?
You had to
119
order
posted
40,
21.
Yep.
Yeah.
you had to
post
order
them all.
40 signs to get the discount,
Yeah.
correct?
No, it was a bottom line.
Over
monetary
$1,000
value,
to
over
get the
1,000.
discount.
Over
Yeah,
1,000.
Oh, just over 1,000?
so your 25 does it.
Huh?
Your 25 does it, $1,000.
Yep.
Unless you go one more sign.
If we went
But-
30 signs and
Plus add
25 posts. or-
another $190 for 10 additional signs.
But again, now
Yep.
now you got to ask the chief again, because now we're talking two different places. It sounded like he went from Page Hill Bridge to Waterman, now we're talking from the dam to Waterman, which
I think that-
cuts off 250 feet either side.
Right.
For times two sides.
Put them on, and you're only gonna put them on one side of the road. He only wanted them no
Yep.
parking either side, I think is what it says on the signs.
Yeah.
That's why the sign reads no parking either
So-
side, he's just gonna put them on the
One
right
side.
side.
So to me, that seems like a lot of signs for,
But it does.
I don't know. I don't know because I haven't
I don't know what the
traveled
distance is.
upped
I
there
think
the
we
other
have to
day.
know what the
75 feet,
distance
that's
is.
not a lot when you consider it 75 feet apart,
it. Right,
just from the dam to the entrance. And
right. No, I wasn't there for that conversation, so
Yeah.
I'm coming up behind you.
Yeah, and that's about the area you have to cover. That's the biggest problem right there.
Well, we can look through the budget and see what there is.
Yep, I would come back in 2 weeks, and then when you come back on the 29th, then we'll have it figured out and go from there, see where we can get the money from, or
well, the only thing
who's
is,
gonna
we
supplement it.
wait that long, we're not gonna have the signs up before 4th of July weekend, which is their busiest weekend.
It's true.
We got 25 signs, that's enough to do 1,875 feet,
Right,
75,
almost 2,000 feet.
almost 2,000 feet.
Yeah.
Just under a half a mile.
Just under a half mile.
I would think 25 signs.
That should
go
be,
from the dam
it gets started anyway.
to Chase Park.
It's a start.
That's a good start, anyway.
Yeah.
See what they go.
So the question is who pays for it?
I'll ask them.
Even if
I
they
think
just-
this is more of a decision that needs to be made, like, almost tonight. I hate to say it, but to get it for 4th of July, get it put
Well,
up.
we get it, and then we decide where we're gonna take the money from.
But doesn't the motion have to specify where it's coming from?
Not if it's in the operating budget.
No, it's, the operating budget.
But where's it gonna come from? You gonna pull it out of the DPW? He shouldn't have to pay for it. Gonna pull out of the PD? He's just trying to force a rule.
And Parks didn't technically request it. We
There
did.
you go.
I say let's order the signs and let's figure it out.
Yep,
But we need to get something. We need to get it taken care of.
okay, is that a motion?
I make a motion that we request that the police chief orders 25
I
signs.
think it's the highway department. They're the ones that are
Oh, no,
ordering it
he's
for.
the one that has to request it, I think.
We're requesting it now, so,
No, Joe got the quote from.
got the quote
Okay.
it's coming
I
from
make a
correctional
motion
industries.
that we authorize DPW to order 25 signs with posts.
You gotta go over 1,000, so do
You don't
26.
have to. You don't have
You
to.
want the discount,
It was $160.
well, it's $160.
That was 40 and 40.
Well, we're gonna
Get
get, how
3
many,
signs for free. Come on, Ricky.
My motion's 25 posts, 25 signs, to be ordered from
The state of New Hampshire.
State of New Hampshire Correctional Industries.
to be installed on Reservoir Drive.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 No.
No. Okay.
I have an opinion about placement. Since
Hey.
you're talking about both sides, it's like you could
No,
almost.
just
do-
one side. They're gonna pay them on
No,
one
that's what I
side.
mean. Just one side, saying no parking either side. You could almost, well,
Covers both sides of the road, so.
yeah.
Benji's gonna have to
But-
find the best spots to put them.
Because I'm thinking if half of them were on one side, but they were spaced out further apart, because if you're driving up one way and you never see them from the other direction or something, but you're right.
Well,
up
they're
to
gonna
the
be
highway
like,
department
they're
to
gonna be
figure it out.
like, they're not
Coming
gonna be
towards
facing
the
towards
lake.
the lane of traffic, they're gonna be facing
Right.
outward.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
so
sure
we will-
Benji's listening, so he can tell Joe to,
So we'll meet about a field usage fee plan and the
public hearing.
walk-in fee, and we'll be ready for the public hearing
On
on
the
the
29th,
29th.
yeah.
29.
Is that at 6:30? 6:45?
Yes, that'd be the only thing.
6:45.
That's an off night.
Yeah.
Okay.
on
It's
the
an off
29th.
night for you guys.
Yep.
Because you're gonna meet the 6th. So,
Yep,
we said we would
Right.
conduct just that.
just that. That's it.
6:30.
I think that's it for me, unless I have any, unless you
July
guys
6th?
have any more
No,
questions.
29th,
The 20, what are we doing on the 6th?
the regular
The
meeting.
regular meeting?
Yeah.
So we're just having the public hearing. Okay.
All right, I think that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Janine, thanks.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you. See you all soon.
You got it.
Yeah.
Anybody actually read the minutes?
You have
Yeah,
the
the ones for
18th.
the
We have
18th.
the 18th from 2 weeks ago.
6-1 I just sent you though,
Yeah.
about 10 minutes before I came downstairs.
For some reason, I can't find 18th.
6:18 was before, you had them before the
5:18.
last meeting.
Yeah.
Glanced through this one, the 18th.
Okay.
I didn't see anything on page 1, but on page 2, under cemetery rules, says there was a complaint right in the first sentence that Connie St. Clair yelled at a town resident. That person's not a town resident,
No. Okay.
Goffstown resident.
Just to go back for a minute, and before, and it's not a correction, but just for informational, department head and committee meetings, Police Chief Moore discussed 3,300 feet of road frontage along Chase Park, Waterman Road to Page Hill. So, you're almost 3/4 of a mile is what he was looking at the post.
I got 'em. I deleted them
You deleted them?
accidentally.
It's on the website.
Yep. So I'm just saying it's, so that's what they were looking for originally. So I think 1,800 feet is probably more reasonable.
Yeah, 'cause from the dam to Page Hill must be, 500 feet at least.
Oh, at least,
Yeah.
at least, yeah,
Start the dam, you go every 75 feet, when you run out, you run out.
yeah. I mean, you're more of a, it's more of a, I think, a concern, because that's a little bit of a poke to walk back to the park from down that way. I think it's more of a concern going towards Waterman, because I remember the complaints that they were blocking
Driveways.
driveways, they were, parked at the end of Waterman. I mean, that's, but, well, I think that what we've started, that's probably as good as any. But okay, getting back to the minutes.
So if it's not a resident, what do you want to put there?
It's not a town resident, it's a Goffstown resident,
I just say, just yelled at a
Visitor?
yelled at a
whatever.
I
visitor.
would say visitor, yeah.
And then in the third paragraph, the second line, it is not an easement when you get a cemetery. Should have law added in there.
Yep.
Didn't see anything else on that page.
Okay, that's what, page 2, page 3.
3. I didn't see anything on 3. I didn't mark anything anyway, so
Page 4.
I didn't see anything on 4 either.
Can we go back to page 3 for just a second?
Sure.
Last paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth line down, under the 16,750, it said road reimbursement fund, should be reconstruction.
Well, reconstruction, yeah. Okay. I said nothing on 4, how about page 5 then?
I didn't see anything on 5 really either.
Oops, back here. Page 6. Page 7.
Your name's spelled wrong.
Yeah. What else is new?
Whose name's spelled wrong?
Jack's.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph up from the bottom.
Yep.
Starts chairman.
Jesus, come on, stop.
Usually it's my name that's spelled wrong.
That's easy to do.
Yeah, usually they drop the E on mine all the time. They see it's Chairman Meany, it's EY instead of the NY.
Every other one looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's, okay. Page 8.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of May 18th, 2020 as amended.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll table the ones for the first.
I like that idea.
Next is the manifest. To order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated June 18th, 2020, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest for $78,886.02. First responder stipend manifest for $7,256.51. Accounts payable manifest for $303,805.93. The Ware District Accounts payable manifest for $605,875 for a total of $995,823.46. The following manifests were previously ordered to be signed on the June 1st Board of Selectmen meeting. Payroll manifest for $57,415.84. That's the weekly payroll checks dated 6/11 of 2020. First responder stipend manifest for $7,256, and there's a mistake there because it says 500.5113, 513.
What?
The stipend says $7,256.513. So I don't know if it's 51 cents or 53 cents or 54 cents. So that's the stipend checks dated 6/11/2020. And the accounts payable manifest of $69,054.71, checks dated 6/11/2020. And we're looking up the first responder stipend. It's probably 51 cents, because it's the same.
72.56.51.
Yeah, it says 76.51.
72.56.
Yeah, 51. So
51.
it's just like the one up above. Okay, so I'll strike that 3 out, and it's $7,256.51. As there's no selectmen's meeting scheduled for the 22nd of June, we order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated June 25th, 2020, estimated to be about $70,000. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign up for the amount of $75,000 for accounts payable that cannot wait till the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest at the next scheduled meeting. Do I have a second?
You have a problem. You only have 2 signatures.
On which one?
Your payables.
Well, then we'll have a discussion. What's the problem with
You won't
that?
sign it because you're in it.
All right,
I
he's-
won't sign it
he's
for
getting a
2
read.
reasons. One, there's a check in there to me, and 2, there's a check in there to my employer. So I'm abstaining from signing.
Okay.
Who else abstained from signing?
The second one, I don't know if
I don't know
I
if
am
that's valid.
employed by that company that owns that company.
well, I've done the same thing though I've signed it.
Yeah, because we have a contract with them for equipment.
Right, for some equipment, so.
Well, either way, I'm still not abstaining because
Oh, 'cause of- yeah.
Your name's,
okay.
their name's actually.
Yeah.
there's actually a check in there for me, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Who else hasn't signed it?
You and Sherry, the only 2.
Only 2. And John didn't. Why? How come? Well, let's have a discussion so we know.
Well, I had 2 things in there. Number 1 was the speed trailer. And then the second thing is the PD cars are still going down southwest.
With the COVID though, I don't know what his hours are down there. I don't think he's working full-time.
Who?
Jason,
He's back now.
He just come back, yeah.
now,
No.
but
I mean,
not
he's been back.
for,
I think they've been back for a couple weeks.
I had a discussion with Sergeant Frisbee about that last week.
The sign you're talking, or the?
No.
No, I'm sorry,
Well,
the
the
cars,
service work.
the cars.
Yeah.
Because like you, same question I came up with, and he was told that they were a couple of weeks out at the time, which is why this past time they went down to South Ware to get them corrected.
It seems like they always come up with excuses to why they go down there and
Yeah.
not down the other way.
That was the reason given to me.
And it's not just recently, it's been the last.
It's ongoing.
2-3 years.
Yeah, it's not
Seems like they go that way.
Well, stop it.
Well, I think the trailer part, you know, that's within his budget. He wants to spend his money on it. I don't think there's much we can do about that, because
Hopefully
it's,
didn't buy a big enough bulk.
oh, I do too, but that's on him.
It is.
I mean, and there's not much,
We can't do anything about it, it's under the.
No, I understand.
It's under the
but
purchase.
I-
and we gotta pay the bills. So, I mean, we can't,
It wasn't bought by the department to begin with.
yep.
And,
Yeah.
and I agree with John on that, you know, the fact of, now it's another piece of equipment we have to maintain, it's something that has to be registered, we have to modify another piece in the fleet to haul it. It's just,
Benji was asked to come before the board when he wanted to buy the tractor. Was he not?
But how much was the tractor?
20,000.
Yeah, that was.
This one's $400, so it's under the purchasing
It's under the
policy. If he's got it in his
well, it's under the
budget.
purchasing policy, yeah.
Yeah, it's under, it's in his budget. I mean, if he spends it and it doesn't work out, then it's on him. We can't,
Can't micromanage every
and we
department.
can't look over his shoulder every time he wants to go out and buy a pen and pencil or anything else. So I mean, as long as he's,
Let's
He's-
hope it's good and
Yeah.
they get a lot of use out of it.
So we're down to guys going down south.
Well, hopefully if Jason is back to work,
yeah.
that,
May
anything,
change.
huh?
Well, I know that at times too, that, you know, sometimes even before they're all back to full strength, lack of manpower, he was coming out of the shop and doing other jobs too, so.
And I can understand it in wintertime.
Yep,
Yeah, it's
Down
impossible.
there is.
it's a
Zoo.
zoo.
They gather their equipment first. I understand that. It's summertime
Well,
now.
one of them they couldn't have done down there.
The tire?
Seasonal tire change.
Yeah, they don't do
You can't
tires
do the
up there.
tires.
They don't have a tire
Equipment,
machine.
Yeah.
That was $80 bucks.
Right.
Actually, the whole thing was $118. It was a light bulb change and an oil change.
The trailer. Other than that, I mean, I really don't have any problem with them going, I mean, I do and I don't. You know, the thing is, you know, I'd rather it go down there than over to Hillsborough.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
Unless it's a warranty.
Well, do we have warranty?
It's supposed to
Well,
have
that-
100,000 mile
that
warranty.
$450 fix they ran by Hillsborough and they would not cover it.
Which I,
So no
Good
warranty.
warranty.
Which is supposed-
I didn't check any further, that's what I
No,
was told.
no, I'm sure. I
but
don't-
I know these cars, when they get them on bid, through the, part of it was, part of this deal is supposed to have a 100,000 mile warranty on
No, we don't.
it.
Period.
And for some reason, I don't know why they didn't cover it, so.
There you go. We don't, but we don't.
Yeah.
So,
And I just want to reiterate, there was mention at the last meeting that they were to choose one vendor or the other. That's never been said,
No.
you know.
What?
If you look at, there was a comment made they were told it had to be one vendor or the other. That's not.
That's not true.
No,
No.
I think the request was give highway first option.
That's
Right.
right.
That's been that way for quite a while. Back
I
when
think
Sean
it's-
was here, it was like, we'd prefer that you send them over to highway, and if it's something that they can't do, then.
I think that's
send it
been
up.
in effect for longer than
Yeah.
that.
No, but I mean, we reiterated it, I remember with Sean.
But the past police chief didn't do that either.
No, no.
I mean, the last time too, we didn't have somebody down there that would do the oil changes and so forth, that they weren't, when they moved to the new garage, they weren't set up to do it right away either. So,
Chairman, you have a point of order.
certainly, go ahead.
You have a motion and it's been seconded.
Yeah, the discussion's done, so, okay, motion's
You have
been,
your signatures you need.
Oh, you got all three.
Motion's been made and seconded, and do we have a vote on the manifest?
Roll call it.
Yep. John?
Abstain.
Abstain. John? Yes. Sherry?
Yes.
Vicky, yes. And myself, yes, so. 4 yes and 1 abstention. Okay.
I have one. I got a document that needs to be signed. Are you on here? Yes. It's a reappointment form that goes back to the state for issuance of permits.
I believe it's warden,
It's
the
the
warden,
wardens,
deputy
I'm sorry,
wardens.
yeah. It's the wardens, and there's a couple of changes, it looks like. One's gonna be a deputy and one's gonna be the warden. Does that look right to you?
Correct.
Speaking of which, while we're talking that, how's Ray doing? Is he home?
As far as I know.
Ray signed that document.
Did he? Oh, okay. I didn't know he was home yet.
I believe this is all deputy wardens.
I think there's a change on one of them, right?
Yes, there's gonna be a couple of different changes, actually, so, oh, wait, there's a page
Yeah, I was
two
gonna say
back.
this. Yeah,
Yes,
does that look right?
yes, there's gonna be a change, there's gonna be a change.
Of a deputy and a warden?
A vote, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
I believe Bob Rich is gonna take over as the warden.
Yeah, that's what it says there. But it needs selectman signature on that.
Yeah, and
And-
I'm on, it
Yeah.
needs 3, it needs the chairman and 2 selectmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ricky is on the warden list.
So
Yeah,
I need
and John, you abstained probably anyway, because of your brother.
Yeah, as a deputy warden.
And what is it, just a reappointment of wardens?
It's a reappointment of wardens and the change of warden status from Ray to,
Bobby.
to
What is
Richards.
Ray retiring? Finally?
I believe so. That's what I've heard anyway.
So that would be John, Sherry, and, what?
Do we have to move it or no?
I don't think so, no, the 3 signatures there.
No.
No. And then, just a couple things, we are going to open tomorrow. I've got DPW coming back, you saw the window that was put in. There's gonna be a shelf there at the 33-inch handicap so that we can, fill out checks or whatever that we have to. That's gonna be installed first thing in the morning. They had it urethaned and stained, so it wasn't ready for Friday, so it's, they'll be in Thursday to do that. So I've got hand sanitizer and everything. We've got some signs that'll go around in the morning. I was just waiting to do that. But we are gonna start tomorrow morning at 7. 7 to 5 is gonna be the schedule is on Tuesday to Friday. The clerk will be here 8 to 4. And then Wednesday, not this Wednesday, because there's 2 of them are here. But we'll start that. I do have a quick question on the reopening. And I'll try to be. I would like, it was discussed earlier in regards to cross-training and the staff if somebody goes sick. A lot of communities are looking at a what is that,
Shared.
not approval, but there's questions.
Self-testing?
There's questions that are asked of, have you been in contact with?
Like a
It's-
self-certification.
Certification, thank you, I
Screening.
couldn't remember. I'm just wondering if that wouldn't, I guess I don't know what happens in that, where it would be asking you to say you don't have a temperature, but you'd actually take your own temperature. I guess, and the other thing I'd like to do is have a screening document for the customers. Because, and I don't know how much weight it holds, but we took the stop sign off the door that says if you've had a cough, cold, it's on that little tiny piece, but I just am curious of how are you going to know if somebody comes in here that,
It's
Could be-
self-policing, you can't really.
I mean, it is, it's self-policing, but I mean, a lot of places, if you're coming in, and especially in government buildings, they're doing screenings.
I know, but can we self-screen as employees? And can you self-screen with the customers?
I know the state, well, you can ask, that's something that you can do, but I know that the state is screening all their employees. I mean, the manager screens them when they report for work.
All right, so
Takes
that
their
requires
temperature.
us to buy something that, for the temperature.
And ask.
They have, every day they pick out the questionnaire. They have masks, they're issued masks, but I mean, every morning, I've watched them. I watched them do it at the parks. They come in, and the first thing the manager does says, "Okay, you're here, check in, come here." And they go, and they take them, and they go, "Okay, take
Well,
the
we had to do that
temperature."
when we went to Loudon. We actually
Yep.
had to take the thing
Take
and
the
wipe it off
temperature.
with the thing and
Yep.
put it on your forehead,
But they
wait
had
for it
the-
to beep,
the
and then you
manager
had to
did it.
sign a form.
The
You had to
manager
write
wrote
it
it.
down, you had to sign a form that you hadn't been in contact with
Yep.
anybody.
And he asked them that question, have you had anything since you were here last
then you
last
signed
night?
it,
And
but
you
I
sign
guess-
it. And then he writes it, he takes the temperature, writes it down, they sign it, and okay, next. And
Okay, short of having somebody do that, is
you're self-policing yourself, so to speak, I mean, or self-checking, I mean,
How do you verify it?
how do you verify it, if you're gonna
that's
have to
kinda-
verify? I mean, I know that that's
Two
one
people
of the
have
things.
somebody
You
has to
still
be
go
there.
I guess I'm asking, is this something you wanna do? I mean, it would take nothing to,
I don't want to do that, no.
not even saying that you.
Self-certifying? No, it's, to me, it's almost an invasion of privacy.
Well, if somebody comes in and they're not feeling well, they shouldn't be coming in.
That's right, but how do you know? They're
Well,
gonna
they
come
should
in
be-
anyway,
Be
you know?
bright enough to know
Well-
whether they're sick or not.
Well, that's why I wonder, we could put
My
the sign
vehicles.
back on the door with stop,
So,
stop if you have this, please
And
don't
that's
come
fine,
in.
but to
Yeah.
go and ask them, I'm not comfortable with that, but I haven't been since this whole thing started. That's just my personal feeling on it.
Okay, I just didn't
I
know.
just think we have to be careful, because we still have a responsibility to the people that are in this building.
That's what I was looking at.
That's who we've got. And in these times, it's not usual, I mean, and there's still,
I think we're gonna have to be very careful for a long time, because if you look at the numbers, Ware's increased 40% over the last 3 weeks.
That's because testing has increased.
but,
Yeah.
so, who's to say when the
Lockdowns
test
increased.
was? I mean, the last
Doubled.
test could have been 2 days ago. So, I mean, you look at since, and I go back at the numbers that you see on TV constantly, and you look at the numbers that just came from Florida in a day.
So, yeah, 1,900.
And they're testing constantly, 1,900, Georgia,
The day before
1,700.
17.
yeah, but you can
mean-
test positive and be asymptomatic, so.
But
You don't know you're
but that
sick.
doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're not transmitting it to somebody else.
Right,
so
but how,
that's the
but
thing.
you can self-report, be contaminated, be
And you don't
positive, and not know it.
But they're all,
Yep.
I mean, you're still
I
going,
just didn't know if that's what you were, I mean.
still going
I'm
into
just
places
trying
required to wear, some stores or venues are requiring you to wear masks, others want you to wear, and they're still requiring
They're
the distancing.
requesting you do, but.
Some
when I
require,
was-
some request it.
Last time I was in the grocery store, I'd say about 20% of the people did not have masks on.
Yeah. But that's better than before, where there was
None.
80% or 90% of the people didn't have masks, so I mean.
To me, it's where do we stop? When this whole thing's over, are we gonna start doing the same thing at flu season? I get the concern, I really do. It's just,
Okay.
we gotta, society needs to,
Take a little responsibility.
yes.
Well,
That's-
over 110,000 people dead.
I
in
just
the
thought,
US now.
I have seen it, other towns are doing it, other communities are doing it, and they are doing what Jack said. They're actually got somebody before you report in the door, temperature's taken, and you're asked all those questions, you sign off and you come in.
Yep.
But again, who's gonna administer that?
What's what I'm
Have to
saying,
be
I mean,
known.
'Cause she's got
She's
nothing
never
else to
gonna
do.
be, she's never gonna be in her office, cause now we're opened up full time.
No, I'm saying it's employees, they're doing employees,
Employees,
not
yeah,
everybody.
they're only doing the employees, I mean,
Employees.
because you're gonna,
Peterborough's closed for 2 weeks. They've got somebody over there has the virus, somebody, one of the employees.
And you're right, I mean, and people are gonna come in here and out of here, and I just didn't know if we owed that to each other.
I think what you ought to do is put the
To-
warning on that we prefer that you, if you come in here, you know,
I think we discussed
If
that
you're
last
sick-
time.
Right.
Yeah.
if you're sick, and we prefer that you wear a mask.
No, I
Doesn't
just-
say you have to,
Yeah.
but you say we
I've
prefer
seen a lot
it.
of reopening
We
plans
recommend.
that talk about self-screening, and that's why I was asking
Yeah.
if you were considering
we have-
self-screening or not.
Do we have the time and the ability to do that?
No,
That's the
it takes a
question.
person, correct.
I think self-screening is fine, but having somebody here do the screening, I think is gonna be useless unless you screen every single person that comes through this door.
Right. And I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could be carrying it the whole time that this whole thing goes on.
Yep.
and not even know it.
That's right.
And just hope and pray that we don't fall victim and the place could be crippled.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
if it
that
does,
happens, yeah.
And we cross that bridge when we get there.
yeah,
Okay.
Well, then we'll close down for 2 weeks, because everyone wants.
14 plus 72.
And then
so.
the only one other thing I just wanted to, I shared with you all, and I just want to remind you, at 5:30 on Thursday night, there's going to be a tree planting for Mike Sullivan, a memorial, at 5:30 at the library, if anyone is interested.
What night, Tuesday?
Thursday.
Thursday night.
Thursday?
They're asking, do you wear masks, right?
Yep,
No,
Bring your own chair.
bring your own
bring your
chair.
own
Masks,
chair.
bring your own chair.
I'm gonna try to make it, but if,
I've got
I'm gonna
a
try to make it this
site
week.
walk with the planning board, so
I've got a previous commitment.
so
Yeah.
I'll try and skate there after I get out.
I don't know that, I mean, it's just gonna be a short. I
Yeah.
think,
Well,
they did
like
get
I
a hold of
said-
his family, and dad's coming, and
But,
his sister, I think,
you
but,
know, I want to be able to get the planning board one that's a site walk, so it's not far. It's up the road, but it's still,
Mm-hmm.
it's at that time.
That's what, the 18th?
it's the 18th, and it's for planting of the memorial tree for Mike. Brings me to another, so, after we're open tomorrow, we are open to let all the committees meet, correct?
I would think so.
Yep.
Okay.
But I think we want them to clean if they can after they leave.
Yeah.
So, because there is an email with one committee that doesn't want to meet here, they want to meet at the gazebo at 5 o'clock on Wednesday night. There's been some email back and forth. I explained that 5 o'clock could be here. Couple of them, and you're gonna get a lot of that. They're not ready to come inside yet. So I said that there was a article probably a couple years ago, I'd have to look it up, that had been put on there for the,
Oh,
so that people knew what was going on.
It's televised, yeah, and it's to be transparent. so
And the
if they're gonna
question that got
meet-
bounced back to me was it binding or was it advisory? I didn't look it up today.
I believe it's
but
binding.
I believe it's not, it wasn't a petition article. I can bounce that question off Laura.
I'd have to look up the verbiage, but I think it was.
A binding
s-
matter.
It was, but it was to utilize the room when able,
When available.
when available.
Yeah, I think.
And it's
if
But
they
it,
were
available.
but it wasn't a
available-
requirement that you had to, because you couldn't because of Board of Fire wards. And I think there was that weird stipulation.
Well, the Board of Fire Wards,
Because they don't televise.
he did it one time, but it was.
Cable
a-
committee doesn't
We
televise.
did it here for a short term.
Yeah,
We did it here for a short.
and they were trying to do it down there, but it was remote camera and recorded and then
Yeah.
tried to play back. But that's,
I'd have to go back and look at the verbiage, but something in the back of my mind says it wasn't a mandate, it was a,
When possible.
when the room was available to
But
use
the room's
it.
gonna be available,
So,
so
yeah,
we
yes.
cross that bridge, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Laura could probably put some more light on that subject.
Well, if that person, if they don't want to come in this month, is it dire straits, or can they wait?
Or can they do a Zoom meeting?
Yeah. Have somebody
Sounded
here.
like they wanted to be outside at the gazebo.
well, if, there's no difference in doing a Zoom meeting or doing it at the gazebo.
At that
Well,
point,
it
you're right.
has to be televised, or there has to be some recording of it, so.
Yeah, Zoom you can actually access, but then again, too, you can stand on the lawn and watch them too.
Yep.
Yep.
It is open to the public, it is in a public venue,
But
so.
it's not being recorded for YouTube. And that's one of the things at Channel 6. That was one of the biggest
Yeah, but you
things.
can't, well, if we had a Zoom meeting, we're recording it.
Yeah,
Right.
you can.
Yeah, you'd have one
Yeah,
person in here.
Zoom has the capability of recording.
Yeah.
One person would be here, right, with the laptop?
I'm just saying, I just want clarification from you that all committees are able to meet now.
Yep.
back to
Yeah,
their normal
but
schedule.
I think they should,
Okay.
I still think they should try and meet here.
I can find out the other
Yeah,
quick
that's
answer.
the same as mine. They should be meeting here, you know.
But you aren't, it's a real situation when someone has someone at home that,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
so I guess my alternate back to that was, you know, there's been meetings here with people on cell phones and we've set
yeah,
apart.
that's fine, and there's one, the
And
planning board
limited.
has that, and there's one because of something at home, so I mean,
And
I
then the
don't have a
second
problem
one
with
came
that.
back and said they weren't comfortable coming inside yet, so I don't know where that stops.
Well, like you said, I mean, I think we actually crossed that bridge with the 91A thing was you had to be here, or somebody sitting had to be here,
So a member of the board had to be in the building.
and then everybody else could be on phone.
On the phone.
Right.
Because
so-
the first
Except
planning
if
board
it,
meeting,
except
they
it
did
was,
that.
except the only thing difference was if it was a 91A discussion, then you
Right.
never know who's on the other end of the phone listening, so you
Right,
can't
right.
do it that way, but
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And I don't have a thing with that, so.
And I don't think you could have a 91A outside. How can you
No.
prevent that from?
You
Somebody.
can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think it needs to be here, but you can do the phone stuff if you
Yep.
want to.
All right, I can do that. That's basically all I had. Like I said, we're hoping to get back to some sort of normalcy tomorrow.
yeah.
Just to get everybody back. And, I mean, I shouldn't say that. We've all been here, to be honest with you, these last 2 weeks. Everybody's been here. Maybe a few hours here or there, or a day here or there. But typically it's,
No, we're opening, everybody's gonna be here their 40+ hours a week. The doors are gonna be open for the public also.
Absolutely.
Yes, okay.
So are we lifting that 3-person limitation in the hallway or no? Or is
You'll have
it
to keep
because
your
of-
social distancing.
well, see, because, so
That's
the
my
thought, this is my thought. You all got an email, and I replied back, I realized late before I came down. You got an email asking about the 3 in the lobby. What did that
did.
mean that,
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
so did that mean that if there was 3 in,
Next door.
3 in the lobby,
didn't get it.
could other people,
I didn't get it.
okay.
Oh.
So the question was, did the 3
Yeah, well,
mean,
that's
you know,
more.
if there's 3 people in the lobby and, you know, someone's waiting for Kelly or someone's waiting at the clerk, I guess I thought it was pretty simple. There's 3 in the lobby, it said. So it's not unheard of when you have, you know, 2 people could be at one for each person there, and 1 could be in with Kelly, and you still could have 3 people here. But it's in that area there, it's small enough. The post office has the same sign. You can only have 3 in their little lobby. So when 1 leaves, 1 can fill a spot,
Yep.
and then someone else can come in. So I guess I thought that was pretty simple, kind of like the grocery stores doing
So
it.
where are they how are they gonna know that there's?
When one leaves,
My email
Yeah,
address
but
is
how are they
wrong.
gonna know there's 3 people
Oh.
here?
You're gonna have to look through the door.
send it to your father. Send it to your father
No,
again.
they put R Hippler instead of F Hippler. It's wrong again, that's why I didn't get it.
Well, if you use board members at where.nh.gov, it works.
Yes.
Because everybody's got that, but.
I was gonna say, just send it like I did,
So
send it to
what
your
you have
father
to do is
instead.
it's gonna take a little bit of initiative. You're gonna have to open up the door maybe and look in to see if there's already 3 people. That's
We
why
just
this-
prop that door open?
I'm working on that. That, I did prop it open the other day, and I was told that that's a fire code
Fire
hazard.
code.
Because
they have it.
it's a fire-rated door.
It's
So I
it's a
have to get,
separation door.
so I have to get a locksmith to put a closure on, and then I have to get ESP to do a magnet
Oh, Jesus.
so that we can leave it open, because I really would like to leave it open so that not constantly grabbing the handles.
Yep.
All right.
I'll work on that. The magnet was $125. It's not that
Oh, okay, so we're
expensive.
not- okay.
Yeah, but, so you're gonna have to come, kind of either look in the door and come in. That's why there's only 3 chairs. There was 4. We get rid of 1 chair. It's in here. So you'll look to that, and if there's, because there could be 2 in there and 3 people still waiting. Just like any summer, any vacation day when everybody wants to, the line was always around the door anyway. So we're just asking that 3, and it is gonna be a little confusing, because with the window, you know, a good share of people are gonna come in and pay their taxes, so it's gonna be a quick in and out. I don't see it being that big of a problem, and we'll see how it works.
Yep.
You know, I've got 6-foot distancing signs, I've got hand sanitizer to put out for people to use.
We only do so
when they're
much with
cleaning.
the space we have.
Yep.
Right, so that, it was meant to be that area, that wasn't meant to be 3 in here. it meant to be, there could be 2 and then 3, and then Kelly can have 1, Wendy can have 1, you know?
Is there a reason we can't let them use this area as a waiting room if there's that many people?
You
Well, they
can't,
have to walk by each other, so
Yeah.
I don't know that
Oh,
the
just
6
let them,
feet.
just let them be in here rather than be out
Yeah,
there.
But then you'll
you
be-
can walk by other people. It's the short term is not a big deal because you can walk 6 feet within people all day long. If they just have their social distancing in here, so you got the 3 people out there. If we have that much more, let them sit in here.
Yeah, a good share of the 3 people are gonna be paying their taxes, stamp, see you later. You know what I mean? I can't envision it being a big backup.
If it does, just let them stay in here. There's plenty of room in here. No sense them sitting outside, especially
Right.
if the weather's inclement or it's hot as you know what out there.
Yeah, well, we don't turn this air conditioner on either, so it's hot in here too.
Yeah.
So that was just to answer your question and the reply back. I mean, if you had gone grocery shopping, anybody in the last months, they stood out there with a clicker at Market Basket.
yeah, I mean,
So-
So many people
I've,
on-
I've been there at the,
So I'm just saying, I
back
guess I
30 in the
didn't,
morning and
I
they're out
looked
there
at the
waiting,
lobby
so.
being the lobby, not individual offices. That's how I looked at it, but,
I've been out
and
there
that's
at
all I have.
6 AM and they're clicking in.
And at the end of the day, is somebody gonna be wiping everything down?
Yeah, we're all taking turns.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay, correspondence of other business.
How did the R&R upgrades go?
Actually, I didn't ask, they went directly over there, I don't know. I didn't ask Chief Moore.
Okay.
Well, I should have asked him while he was here, because I knew it started on Tuesday. I honestly don't know, John,
Okay.
without asking him.
That's all I had.
Anything else? Okay, and, make a
Still gonna
mo,
do non-public after?
that was your
Yeah.
request.
Yeah.
I don't think it falls under non-public, actually, because some of it's already in the court system, so that's public information.
It's not all of it. Not all of it is.
Okay.
Okay. Make a motion that we go into non-public under RSA 91A, colon 3, Roman numeral 2, small c.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and after that, we will be adjourning. Good night.